period. Call them today, 559-578-4800, 578-4800, or go online to breadcrumbcyber.com, because evidence is everywhere.
News Talk, 580 AM, 1059 FM, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus Media station. KMJ.
Partly cloudy, 66 at Radio City. It's 2 o'clock. I'm Liz Kern in the KMJ newsroom. PG&E says it's mobilizing personnel ahead of a storm arriving early this afternoon. Meteorologists are closely tracking the incoming storm, expecting a stronger push of moisture Thursday into Friday. Wind gusts could get up to 55 miles per hour. Spokesperson Denny Boyle says adverse weather could result in debris falling into power lines, damaging equipment and interrupting electrical service.
We know from past experience that strong winds can push tree limbs into power lines, can break limbs off of trees, throw them into power lines. We've seen instances where winds will blow a variety of things into power lines.
Boyle says stay away from the downed power lines and call 911 to report them. PG&E is activating their local storm center and increasing staffing. President Joe Biden's address in Poland was seen as a direct response in many ways to an earlier address made by Russian leader Vladimir Putin. Fox's Gurnell Scott reports.
President Biden says Putin's reasoning for war in Ukraine is dead wrong.
The West was not plotting to attack Russia, as Putin said today.
The president called the war a tragedy that need not have happened and that it could end with a single word. President Biden said continued conflict reveals a reality.
If Russia stopped invading Ukraine, it would end the war. If Ukraine stopped defending itself against Russia, it would be the end of Ukraine.
And that is why the U.S. and NATO are committed to preserving Ukraine's sovereignty. Gurnell Scott, Fox News.
Mexico's former top cop is found guilty after 3 days of deliberation for collecting millions in bribes from drug cartels. Fox's Alexis McAdams has more.
Officials say Genaro Garcia Luna was supposed to be investigating the Mexican drug cartels for years, but was really working for them. Luna served as the head of Mexico's FBI for 4 years and was also in the Mexican president's cabinet for 6 years. In Mexico, overseeing this fight on the war on drugs, authorities say he talked a big game about taking down the war on drugs, but was really taking millions of dollars from Mexico's biggest crime group, the Sinaloa cartel run by El Chapo, giving those cartel bosses key information on their rivals to help them out.
This is KMJ Breaking News.
We do have news coming in. An investigation is underway after a man was shot in central Fresno this afternoon. The Fresno County Sheriff's Office says the shooting happened near Weldon and Maple. That's near Norseman Elementary School. Deputies say that multiple people ran when they pulled up. A man outside of a home with a gunshot wound to the chest was rushed to the hospital. His condition is unknown. Deputies are still on scene investigating. California's Ag Department wants to help farmers grow more healthy crops. KMJ's Ag Director Don York explains.
The California Department of Food and Agriculture continues to accept applications for the Tree Fruit, Tree Nut, and Grapevine Improvement Advisory Board research grant proposals. That money will help fund research to improve nursery stock. The CDFA announcement also says the research should address important disease and pest problems or other cultural aspects of tree fruit, tree nut, and grapevine nursery stock production. Funding is made possible from industry assessments, and projects should include elements such as research of diseases and genetic disorders. Don York, KMJ News.
On Wall Street, the Dow ended down 697 points. Now here's Fox 26's Justin Willis with our Tuesday forecast.
A little breezy out there through tomorrow morning, 20 to 30 mile an hour winds across the valley with gusts at 45 in some places. Afternoon high today is 67, but cooling to the low 50s tomorrow. And then we've got rain the rest of the week on the valley floor with a winter storm warning for the foothills and mountains. About a foot or two of snow at the 1,000 foot level. Even a chance for snow on the valley floor tomorrow night and Thursday. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Bring your friends and family to Castle Air Museum in Atwater and check out almost 80 vintage military aircraft exhibits open daily from 9 to 4. Check out castleairmuseum.org.
I have Life Source water in my home. It's Ray Appleton. I can taste and feel the difference, and I love it. You can too. Call 559-449-8822 or click lifesourcewater.com.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi. Philip Teresi. Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now on News Talk 580 1059. This is KMJ, Fresno Unified's least favorite station.
2:05 on your afternoon drive, Tuesday edition at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Good afternoon. My name is Philip Teresi. Phones here are 490-5858. Toll free, you can join me at 800-776-5858. On Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, you're going to find the show at Drive KMJ. And on YouTube, Facebook Live and Twitch.tv, you'll also find the show at Drive KMJ. Joshua Weekly stands by to screen your calls this afternoon as we start things off with the Daily Buzz question at KMJNow.com. Is it fair or unfair to criticize President Biden for visiting Ukraine but not Ohio? Let us know what you think. Vote on the Buzz question at KMJNow.com. The Daily Buzz question is sponsored by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers. It's perfectly fair to criticize him for visiting Ukraine and not Ohio. Do I think that criticizing him for visiting Ukraine in and of itself is a worthy exercise? No, I don't. I think that the president visiting Ukraine in and of itself is a vote of confidence for a country that is now fully a year into an existential battle, and a show of support is decent. Do I think that the president should have done better by Ohio than having Pete Buttigieg wag his finger at the people of Ohio and the railway instead of getting his butt out there to see what has happened and to start allocating resources to help those people recover, relocate, remediate, whatever it is that they need to do to either render their home livable or relocate from a place that is not for the foreseeable future livable? Yeah. And as he is a member of Biden's cabinet, I think that the terse reactions from Pete Buttigieg are the responsibility of Joe Biden. The buck stops at that desk. Do I think that Biden himself should have gone out and visited by now? Yeah, I do. So the two in contrast to one another, I think it's fair play to criticize him for going to Ukraine but not Ohio. If we were just talking about Ukraine, I'd say, that's what presidents do, man. So let us know what you think. Check out the Buzz question at KMJNow.com. Again, it is sponsored by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers. And boy, we do have a lot to get to today. We're going to return to the situation at Bullard High and the situation with the Fresno Unified School District. I have corresponded again with the Chief Communications Officer, Nikki Henry, Trustee Susan Wittrup, Superintendent Nelson, and Principal Tarigian. I have heard back from Trustee Wittrup a much more reassuring message this time around, as well as a promise from Communications Officer Nikki Henry that we will get a more measured reply to some questions that absolutely positively need to be answered, especially in light of a new video that was shared with me by a Fresno Unified family over the weekend. Once again, shot by a student, once again on the campus of Bullard High School, once again while school was in session and staff was present on the campus, and once again showing a child getting beaten and eventually kicked in the head by another student. To my relief, I think to the relief of anybody who can stomach this footage, in this case, a staff member does appear and intervene. And that's an improvement over the first video that you could see if you choose through our news partner, Fox 26. Their website is kmph.com. But I knew when we started talking about this a week ago, we were not talking about an isolated incident. I knew when we started talking about this a week ago that getting answers to hard questions was, I'll be honest, I didn't anticipate it being as challenging as it has been, but I expected there would be some defensiveness, if for no other reason, because both of the children involved in the first altercation and all three of the children involved in the second altercation do have a right under the Educational Code and under the laws of the state of California to privacy as minors. I am encouraged that we are getting a different response this time around than we did last time, but neither of these stories have come to their full and proper conclusion. So we will dive into that. I think, though, that where I want to start is some reporting from Daniel Gligich over at SJV Sun. A new bill that's going to target the inmate time credit system that really is at the center of the death of Officer Carrasco in Selma, Gonzalo Carrasco, 24 years old, just about to conclude his second year on the force, was killed on January 31st while on patrol. The 23-year-old who has been arrested and charged with the murder is a convicted felon. He'd been sentenced to over 5 years in prison for gun and drug charges, but he got out months into his sentence because of time credits accumulated under the law in the state of California. A big piece of this is Prop 57, which was passed by voters in 2016. So a new bill's been introduced by Assemblymember Joe Patterson. And you'll, from time to time, you'll see his name pop up. And honest to goodness, every time I see Joe Patterson's name pop up, I always think they're misspelling Jim Patterson's name, because so far Joe Patterson's turned up on the kind of legislation I wouldn't be surprised to see from Jim Patterson. But Joe Patterson's actually an assembly member from the Rockland area up near Sacramento. He has introduced Assembly Bill 1260, which will, it aims to bring the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation's credit system, time credit system, into the public eye. So the big picture here, again, by way of Daniel Gligich at the SJV Sun, Patterson's bill centers on the allegation that the Department of Rehabilitation is releasing inmates early without notifying local district attorneys. AB 1260 will require advanced notification to local DAs of the credit calculations, and it will require the notification to include the length of the sentence imposed by the court, the amount of time that was changed by credits, and the percentage of the length of the served sentence. Assemblymember Joe Patterson of Rockland says that while he supports proven rehabilitation programs, the reality is that inmates are just being cut loose and nobody's being warned. The quote here, our district attorneys are seeing criminals denied parole, released back into the community to repeat offend without notification to the DA or to the victim. This cannot continue unchecked. The notification is helpful. The notification presents an opportunity. The notification cannot be the end of the solution. Now, when we started talking about the murder of Officer Carrasco in Selma, we heard from folks working in the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation here in the state of California. And one of the things that was repeated by folks working currently and folks retired from facilities all over the state is that the state of California does not lack beds. It does not lack facilities. It lacks the will to make use of existing beds and facilities, staffing them properly so that these convicts have a place to stay that does not run afoul of AB 109 and that can, with appropriate redress of Prop 57 and 47, provide housing for violent and dangerous criminals. Look, this really does come down to a will of the voters, will of the taxpayer issue. You and I cannot continue to vote for people who put the happiness of criminals ahead of the well-being of society. And there is a through line from a failure of accountability in schools, given the shiny, happy descriptor of restorative justice, a practice that in certain circumstances is absolutely the right thing to do. And in other circumstances is a wasted gesture for somebody who is not going to avail themselves of the opportunity. Now, there's been a lot of blame placed on Gavin Newsom. There's been a lot of blame placed on former State Attorney General Kamala Harris. But I think that there's blame enough to go around, both to the two of them and to every member of the legislature who participated in the promotion and passage of these laws. And the only way that we are going to correct this is at the ballot box and, unfortunately, incrementally. Because every aspect of rolling these mistakes back, every aspect of making the full and best possible use of incarceration facilities that we have already paid for, is to go through step by step to push it back, to fight it in the courts when the inevitable liberal social justice do-gooder turns up and tries to fight back against a civil and lawful society. And I cannot figure out what the end game is, what is happening in the minds of the legislators who have put these things together. I want to believe it's well-intentioned idiocy, that there was an idea that if we gave nonviolent criminals an opportunity to rehabilitate and to rejoin society, if we steered them out of the unfortunately sometimes endless loop that is the legal system, that maybe they would get their feet underneath them, figure it out, and you would see a net improvement. But that's not what we are seeing. The recidivism rate is through the roof. We're cutting cop killers loose because we got lied to, because we voted for a bad law, and because now the legislature and the governor refuse to do the right thing by society, the right thing by the victims. I'm curious to see how AB 1260 moves forward. I'm curious to learn if Sacramento will let it move forward 1 inch. It's the afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. My name is Philip Teresi. Phones are open for you at 490-5858 and toll free 800-776-5858. You can listen online at kmjnow.com. Thanks for being here.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. You need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters with free shipping and prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 50% off any order during Blindster's President's Day sale. Hurry, sale ends February 23rd. Blindster.com.
Hey, it's me, Ray Appleton. Since 1992, I've kind of been the voice of Fresno Acura locally, and I never have seen such a dilemma as the one we just got out of with basically no inventory. Supply chain issues, semiconductor issues, but now Fresno Acura says, we have inventory. You don't have to wait on your car because it's here right now. And to accompany this new inventory, the financing is off the block great. I'm not kidding. I'm not making that up. Check it out yourself. So specifically, what does Fresno Acura have? The most popular car in their line, the MDX. I've had 3 readily available. No, wait, I've had 4. The Acura MDX is the absolute pinnacle of fashion, design, and performance. Unbelievable performance for a sport utility vehicle. And with all of this new inventory, can you imagine the previously owned cars that have been traded in to grab onto these new ones? Fresno Acura on Palm, just north of Herndon. You got to see the MDX. Rated Consumer's Best Buy 8 years in a row. Also rated a top safety pick. You can't go wrong with an MDX. I know. Sure, he's been in business for 18 years, but there are still some of you, shame, who have not seen Lou Rodman's Patio Bar Stool and Amish Emporium. Brand new for him right next to Fashion Furniture across from Lowe's. Let's talk. The finest outdoor furniture manufacturer in the country is OWLE. It's been a little hard to get, but now, daily, new deliveries of outdoor furniture from OWLE are winding up at Lou's place. This line is not bargain basement or cheap, no, but for the discerning outdoor type who loves their outdoor furniture as much as their indoor furniture. Two names, Lou Rodman and OWLE. That's it. And who would have thought Amish furniture would have exploded like it has? This is the part where I mention how much I love my Amish rocking chair. But the Amish are producing furniture for every room in the house for Lou Rodman. Bar stools, indoor and outside. Dining sets from everywhere, including Amish and affordable contemporary pieces for your dining room. There is, in this state, no other store like it. Lou Rodman's Patio Bar Stool and Amish Emporium. Open 7 days a week.
Donate your old vehicle to carsforkids.org, the best car vehicle donation program. Your generosity changes the lives of kids right here in our community with a second chance at a better future. Before you sell or give away that old vehicle in any condition, please donate it to carsforkids.org. Carsforkids.org picks up cars, trucks, motorcycles for free. Plus, you'll get a $50 Visa gift card. It's so easy to donate to carsforkids.org. Please, write off the car, not the kid.
Welcome back to Solar Squabble. Leo here is about to name a community that Solar 4U's experts are from. So, Leo?
Fresno.
Not likely.
How about Clovis?
Nope. Top answer on the board is outsourced from wherever.
Well, that's unfortunate because the best work comes right from the people in our own communities, like at Energy Concepts. We've been here over 30 years and are the highest rated SunPower elite dealer in the Valley. Staying local? Now that's a power move.
I'm attorney Mark Capitan from the Capitan Brothers Law Firm. I hope you've tuned into my show here on KMJ each Saturday at noon. As attorneys, my brother Peter and I have been very successful at winning record-level personal injury awards. For years now, I've defended thousands of local people. In a time of personal difficulty, it's not always easy to know what to do. You need to be smart. Take the time and make the call. Ask for help. We have the solutions and we'll fight for you. Make the call to Capitan Brothers. You'll be doing yourself a favor. Call 559-498-8000 or click us online at capitanbrothers.com. If you've been in an accident, been injured, or in trouble, know you can trust the Capitan Brothers. The number again, 559-498-8000. This is attorney Mark Capitan inviting you to tune in to The Mark Capitan Show every Saturday at noon right here on KMJ.
This is KMJ, Fresno Unified's least favorite station.
Rolling to your 2 o'clock hour on a Tuesday afternoon. It's News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Appreciate you being here. You can join me on the phone at 490-5858, toll free. We're open at 800-776-5858. Coming up in just a minute, we are going to get to money matters and the ethics of somebody in a position of power moving forward an agenda that serves their own wife. But Michelle is checking in on what we were just talking about, this new bill that's going to target California Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections credit system and the notification requirements for releasing folks early. Michelle, welcome to KMJ.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that I was a correctional officer for 12 years. I actually went to college and got a college degree in correctional science and then quickly realized that wasn't the line of work for me. But one thing that's lacking, and this isn't always a popular opinion, but there is no rehabilitation in the Department of Corrections. They might say, we do AA classes, we do NA classes, but those are the first things they don't run. If they're short-staffed, there's no, some of those guys have been in there for 20 plus years, and they're released with just $200 like debit card and have no idea how the world works anymore. They don't know how to balance a checkbook. They don't know how to, pay bills. They don't know, the correct ways to make a resume or try to find a job. So they just fall back on behaviors they know. So I think it would be more successful if they tried to, put like real life skill classes in there before they get out to kind of maybe help not to like try to go back to prison on old behavior.
Michelle, you're talking about education. You're talking about spending money on convicts, and So, first of all, I don't think that you're wrong. If we want these people to leave jail, to leave prison, to go into the world, to sin no more and contribute to society, we got to teach them how to do something, including take care of themselves. You're not wrong. As far as convincing the taxpayer to cough up for vocational education for convicts, when we won't even cough up for vocational education for high school students, I know.
It's
a will of the voter thing.
And it's like, and I mean, at one time, correctional officers were the highest paid profession, where you didn't even need a high school diploma to qualify. If you have a GED, you can be a correctional officer.
Yeah.
And, some of them make extreme amounts of money just taking on 2 shifts at a time or filling in for somebody. But it's hard to be a correctional officer too. So I get why there's not more, people there, but it's just, I don't know. You're right. And it's like a double-edged sword, but if you don't teach them something, they're just going to fall back and do what they know.
Oh, Michelle, you are not wrong. There's nothing that you're saying that I think is incorrect. What's frustrating is what you are describing is also key to improving our educational system. And I think that part of the problem is these systems grow to a certain size. Their administration grows to a certain size. And the function of the organization stops being service to the community because I hate this, because schools and prisons really shouldn't have all of the same through lines. But the truth is that both of these institutions were founded to serve the general public. They were founded to serve their respective communities. In the case of public education, it was to teach and train young people to be ready to join the workforce at the point at which they achieved adulthood. In the case of the rehabilitation system, it was to take people who forgot how to act right in society, retrain them or punish them for not managing to avoid breaking the law, and then give them the time and the space to rejoin society, having paid their debt, rejoin society and move forward. And there's obviously a much, much bigger stigma on convicts than on kids, as there should be. But in both cases, you've got taxpayers who are looking around and going, oh my God, I am pumping out so much money already. What are we feeding these guys, caviar? Everybody's got a flat screen in their cell. All these kids are getting computers. I don't have a new computer. And you get frustrated and you get disgusted because you see all of that money flowing into that system. The Fresno Unified School District, for example, has a $2 billion budget. It is also one of the worst school districts in the country. In theory, it serves the entire Fresno Metroplex. In reality, it serves its own administration first. And unfortunately, I very much get the feeling that in the case of the criminal justice system, there's a little bit of the same in play. In that people who have no contact with the client are most concerned about preserving their jobs. They're most concerned about preserving their power. They're most concerned about preserving their departmental budgets. They're not concerned about getting the job done in the most efficient way possible. They're not concerned about attracting and retaining the best possible talent to serve the needs of the service receiving constituents. They are most concerned with their own big fat paychecks. And this is, I think, more easily demonstrated in the public school system because I think it's easier for people to wrap their head around the superintendent, the deputy superintendent, the deputy assistant superintendent, the secretaries that work for each of them, the public communications person, the law enforcement liaison, the campus liaison, the principal, the vice principal, the campus disciplinarian, and then finally a teacher. And you realize that between a superintendent and a student, you have 5, 6, 7 layers of bureaucrat. And all of them are making 6 figures. In the case of the Fresno Unified Superintendent, a massive district with a horrible success rate. We have a superintendent who makes almost as much as the President of the United States of America. No joke. His total benefits package, when you roll everything together, well over $400,000 a year. And the voters stand back and look at this and go, forget it, I'm not giving these people more money. And that's where I wonder if we focus our attention on the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, how quickly will we find out that there's a great big fat administration that's all eating steak dinner on the public dime, while nothing is being done to re-educate, to rehabilitate, to improve the outcomes for people who once upon a time would have done a hitch and then gone off to be a mechanic or a forklift driver or some other functioning component in society. Michelle, I appreciate the call. We got to get to news. Liz Kern is standing by in the KMJ newsroom.
KMJ News now.
A Yosemite climbing legend is found dead in the Canadian Rockies. 42-year-old Zach Milligan lived in a cave at Yosemite National Park for 13 years. He was a high-level free soloist climbing alone without ropes. He gained worldwide recognition for being one of 2 people to descend Yosemite's Half Dome on skis in February of 2021. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police say his body was discovered February 12th at the bottom of a nearly 2,300-foot ice cliff in Jasper National Park. An autopsy has been scheduled. Police say that Milligan's death appears to be accidental. It's been over a month that 65-year-old actor Julian Sands was reported missing while hiking near Mount Baldy. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department is calling off the search due to that winter storm coming in, with heavy snow expected and wind gusts as high as 85 miles an hour. Authorities have vowed their mission, though, is to bring closure to the British actor's family. A major roadway and several trails are now closed inside Yosemite National Park following a rock slide.
Video sent to our news partner KMPH Fox 26 captured a large chunk of granite breaking off from El Capitan inside Yosemite National Park. Officials say it all happened around 1:30 Monday afternoon. The debris from the rock slide forced the closure of Northside Drive, as well as all trails from Camp 4 to the El Capitan crossover and the Northside Firefall viewing area. The National Park Service has yet to say when the road will reopen, but adds Southside Drive is open to two-way traffic. Ruth Michaels, KMJ News.
The power of the music of
Andrew Lloyd Webber, the English composer who created the scores for blockbuster musicals such as Phantom of the Opera, Cats, and Evita, has written the anthem for King Charles III's coronation. The work by Webber is one of a dozen new pieces that Charles commissioned for the grand occasion, which is taking place on May 6th at Westminster Abbey. It includes words adapted from Psalm 98 and is scored specifically for the Abbey's choir and organ. On Wall Street, the Dow had a down day, ending down 697 points, closing at 33,129. The S&P 500 dropped 81 points. NASDAQ lost 294 points. 2:34 at KMJ. Valley weather right now, partly cloudy, 66 at Radio City. A storm coming in. Here's Fox 26's Justin Willis with more on that.
Afternoon high today is 67, but cooling to the low 50s tomorrow. And then we've got rain the rest of the week on the valley floor with a winter storm warning for the foothills and mountains mountains. About a foot or two of snow at the 1,000-foot level. Even a chance for snow on the valley floor tomorrow night and Thursday. Wind speeds this afternoon are around 20 to 30 miles an hour with 45-mile-an-hour gusts. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Hiring is hard. Luckily, there's Indeed. The hiring platform makes it easy to attract, screen, and interview candidates from the same place. Just sponsor a job. You'll immediately get a short list of quality candidates on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit to get started.
Celebrating 25 years in business, Custom Ag Formulators has proven to be your partner in custom product toll manufacturing. Located in Fresno, California and Georgia, they handle sourcing all products and packaging, production, warehousing, and logistics to ensure your customers receive their order in a timely manner. Custom Ag has the ability to toll for various industries to bring your ideas to life. Contact Custom Ag Formulators regarding your manufacturing needs for liquid and dry products. Their team is your team. Visit CustomAgFormulators.com.
Chris Daniel for Breadcrumb Cybersecurity. Ransomware, wire fraud, breaches. You're talking about it for your business already. How could you not be? These are nation-based bad actors, criminal cartels, the same ones who target government and Fortune 500 companies are targeting you. It's time for the next step in protecting your company. It's time to call Breadcrumb. Trusted by law enforcement and nationally recognized, the team at Breadcrumb delivers results, period. Go now to breadcrumbcyber.com because evidence is everywhere.
John hated getting out of bed, always wary of what new disaster the day would bring. Labor issues or Sigma regulations, the latest pest invasion, stink bugs, and politicians? New day, new farming fiascos. I gotta tell you, John's happier now, and he sleeps a lot better. I'm Dan Hoekstra with Hoekstra & Associates. We were able to find buyers for his farmland and then help him turn the proceeds into a stable income stream that consistently pays him 3 times more than what his farm earned on its best year. And the best part? He never has to worry what new disasters the day will bring. The passive income shows up in his bank account while he and his wife tour the world on a much-needed and never-ending vacation. Maybe you're like John, ready to trade in your work boots for traveling shoes. We can sell your farmland and find you stable investment properties that'll bring you a steady income with no farming fiascos. Let's talk it over. Your kitchen table or mine? Go to HOEKSTRA.land, Hoekstra.land.
Call All Britain now for your $129 complete furnace revitalization.
Makes your heater blow like it's young again.
Online at allbritain.com.
Life can be extremely stressful and overwhelming. Most, if not all of us, can relate. If you or anyone you know is in crisis or suicidal, call the Central Valley Suicide Prevention Hotline. It's free and confidential. Call 1-800-273-8255. There is always help, and we are here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Reach out at 1-800-273-8255.
Concrete blocks are being used to cover electrical access panels to prevent copper thieves from robbing you blind. Check them out online at bestconcreteblocks.com.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm.
Mattress Firm's President's Day sale is here. Shop and save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets. Plus, get a $300 instant gift good towards sleep accessories. Find your dream bed at Mattress Firm. Then cozy up on your new bed because there's nothing better than staying in.
I'd like to thank Tommy for saying the thing that we were all kind of thinking. Thank God that was a news piece about Andrew Lloyd Webber doing new stuff and not Andrew Lloyd Webber no longer being with us. I have to admit, when I saw it trending on Twitter, I thought the first, same thing went through my head. Of course, every time you see a celebrity name on Twitter now, isn't it the first thing that goes through your head is, oh my God, is it Jeff Goldblum? Not Jeff Goldblum. But no, Mr. Webber is fine and composing the soundtrack for the coronation of King Charles, which I don't think is going to sound quite like this. Although it would be a bold move. It's the afternoon drive at News Talk 580 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Glad to have you along for the ride today, and the phones are open for you at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. An unfortunate but I think apt comparison kind of coming into play as we talk about an effort from a Rockland area assembly member to improve accountability in the state of California for the Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections when they release somebody early because of these insane time credits that allow folks who have been sentenced to years to get out of jail or prison in months. 490-5858, and Eric is next. Eric, welcome to KMJ.
Hey, Philip. I only caught the last 3 or 4 minutes of your last segment, but you were talking about kind of the comparison between schools and prisons. And my comment is this: if you compare them side by side, they're both a gigantic bureaucracy that has become inflated at the top, and at the bottom comes out a product. In this case, students. This case of school students. In the case of prisons, hopefully somebody that's been rehabilitated and is able to come back into society in a fashion that's acceptable. The problem is they've become so fat and so bloated at the top that the money is being sucked up at the top, and once again at the bottom, at the bottom end where the product is supposed to come out, is dripping out a flawed product.
Yeah.
And it's true with any bureaucracy, specifically in the state of California. We have the highest gas taxes, as an example, in the country, and we have, if not the worst roads, some of the worst roads.
Yeah.
And almost every bureaucracy in this state has gotten to the point where they've become bloated at the top. The product that comes out is piss poor in most cases, excuse my language, and there's no oversight to ensure that we're getting the proper product.
Dude, you hit it exactly on the head. And in my opinion, the oversight should have come from those same administrators and from the legislators that put them into those positions, but it's going to have to come from the voters and the taxpayers, because we're going to have to fire the legislators in order to move forward on minimizing and removing ineffective administrators. The bureaucracy is not going to give itself up.
But the people watching the bureaucracy, the people managing the bureaucracy, are fed by people who have a financial interest in the inefficiencies and the bloatedness, over-bloatedness of the bureaucracy, right? The prison unions are feeding the people that are in charge of oversight. The teachers' unions are feeding the people that are in charge of oversight, and the result is what we have. The only way it's going to come back is if the citizenry gets involved. Unfortunately, the state of California, we're so far behind as it relates in our legislature and the imbalance of Democrat versus Republican, liberal versus conservative in the state, that the way back is decades in the making. It was decades in the ruinization, the ruin, if you will, of our legislature. It's going to be decades in the making of a correction.
Eric, I think that you and I are watching a countdown to a time when you will see lobbyists and unions and all of these same moneyed interests that go in and promote the inefficiencies and the top-heavy structures that we're talking about. You're going to see them going and buying advertising, specifically on news programs on television and news and talk radio stations. And it's not just going to be the normal campaign season, hey, vote for our guy, he's not really a baby-eating monster stuff. You're going to see them showing up and putting money on the table specifically so that they have the ear of management so that they can try and downplay negative coverage.
We already see that. We see that right now in the coverage that's being put out there by the various news organizations. And if you follow the money in these news organizations and you look at the amount of money spent on just indirect advertising, not advertising saying, hey, this is what we need to do, but the union spending advertising and putting their advertising dollars into these news organizations, and the news organizations worried about, kind of preserving that cash flow, if you will, and not going and aggressively pursuing the stories that need to be pursued, or in a lot of cases, just overtly telling lies or somewhat mistruths about the fact of what's really happening. And you see that at national news organizations, all the way from, I hate to say it, but I'm a Fox News fan, but you see it on Fox News on some of the tilted coverage that they have, and you see it on CNN and the tilted coverage they have, and you see it all the way down to the Fresno Bee locally on the tilted coverage they have. It's already happening. It's just not overtly an advertisement saying support the prison union or support prisons or support inefficiency. It's happening quietly behind the scenes.
Eric, I think that your cynicism is warranted. I can tell you with absolute confidence, I have never received instruction from any level of management in the company that I work for today to drop a story because it was not politically expedient or because it was offensive to a ratepayer, an advertiser. What I'm saying,
radio was the last bastion of truth.
What I'm saying is they're coming for that too. They are absolutely going to come for that too. There will be a point in time where you hear somebody, and instead of saying, coming to you live from the Eagle Mountain Casino, it's going to be coming to you live from the SEIU radio studios. It's going to be that naked. And at that point, we will have the media, the press, the whatever it is we're calling this mess, we will have finally surrendered any chance of credibility.
We're not as far away from that as we all think we are.
I really hate that I agree with you, but I agree with you. It's the next piece. Eric, I appreciate the call, man. Be safe on the road. 490-5858, 800-776-5858. I know it sounds paranoid. It sounds like I'm trying to mash another layer of tinfoil on the hat here, but I'm telling you that there is a clock ticking to it being that naked and that overt. And the response will eventually be, what are you going to do about it? And that will be the point at which you will see, again, I'm not talking about political advertising. I'm not talking about going out and paying for spots because you've got a ballot measure or you've got a candidate that you want to promote. That's been happening for years and years and years, and it's always been understood. You can buy advertising for any candidate you want, but if you're running a goofball, we're going to call out the goofball. There's going to be a point in time where it's going to be a matter of jerking around media management by the purse strings. And it's not just going to be some sweetie pie PR thing like what you see PG&E doing. It's going to be a cudgel to stop reporters and to stop editorializers from reporting and editorializing on inconvenient and unpleasant stories. And it's not either side. It's both sides. And it's not just legacy media. You'll start seeing sponsorships pop up. You'll start seeing plugs pop up on all these podcasters, all these video streamers, all these wonderful folks that claim to be the place to find your hidden wisdom. And it's going to start coming from them too. Now, when we get back, we're going to talk a little bit about money games right up at the top of Sacramento. Did you know that Jennifer Newsom has an official office called the Office of the First Partner that includes 9 staff members, and that $5 million in funding was put into this nepotism? Gavin Newsom tells you exactly why he does it, too. Specifically, he says to bring taxpayer funding behind her issue advocacy. An annual budget of $800,000 when it started, now $1.2 million a year. The fish rots from the head. It's the afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Phones are open for more of your calls. I'm Philip Teresi. Thanks for hanging out.
This report is sponsored by Churches.
There are so many reasons to get hooked on Church's 8-piece shrimp meal. It's dippable, crunchable, downright irresistible, and it starts at $5.99. The only catch? It's only here for a limited time. Church's Texas Chicken. Welcome to the great state of flavor.
This is Christina Musan. Over the last 7 years, Closets by Design has organized 5 of my closets, a garage, a mudroom, and even my wine storage in not 1, but 2 of my homes. I keep going back time and again because they make organization easy. From the initial design appointment to installation, your satisfaction is their priority. And you already know that if you want proof, you can go to my Facebook page and see the quality for yourself. And maybe you've already done that and thought to yourself, I can't afford that. Well, that's not true, especially right now. Until February 25th, mention you heard this ad on KMJ, and you'll get 40% off, plus an additional 15% off, and 18 months interest-free financing. So what better time than to give Closets by Design a call? 453-7034. Check them out online at closetsbydesign.com. Closets by Design. Don't just imagine it. Make your home beautifully organized.
Tom Sharp for Maximum Air Gun.
Firearm regulations dogging your favorite hobby? Skip the restrictions and dive into the world of air rifles. 22 caliber through 50 cal, only at Maximum Air Guns in Fresno. From high-power slugs to specialized scopes, we have everything you need to eradicate pests, target shoot, or try your hand at precision competitions. Buy today, shoot today. Maximum Air Gun specializes in paintball, airsoft, and we have a huge selection of air rifles. Maximum Air Gun on Blackstone next to Me and Ed's Pizza. You will be amazed.
Mr. World here, working the red carpet at the big awards show. You know, the paparazzi keeps asking me, what are you wearing? Well, I'm wearing the hottest styles from Eyeglass World, of course. Eyeglass World has all the nominees for Best Stylish Frames. Even better, they're the winner for Best Supporting Prices.
Get hundreds of designer frames for hundreds less at Eyeglass World, the world's best way to buy glasses. Visit eyeglassworld.com to schedule your eye exam online.
Every time I, Ray Appleton, saunter into Lou Rodman's Patio Barstool and Amish Emporium, brand new, right next to Fashion Furniture across from Lowe's, the inventory grows and grows and grows. Let's remember, this began 18 years ago, all about bar stools. Central California needed bar stools. Now it's grown to where you can walk in and you can grab 2 or 22. They're in stock, they're ready to go. Throw them in the truck and you're out of there. One thing that Lou didn't have practically all last year was outdoor bar stools. He's got them. The supply chain fiasco is over with that little bit of inventory. Get him while he's got him. And the Amish inventory, it's expanded from beyond just Noah Bontrager, who's still doing outstanding things for Lou Rodman, to about 4 or 5 different lines. Amish bedroom sets on fire. Wait until you see these. Something that really caught my eye is the line of Barnwood leather living room furniture. Oh man, bars, gaming tables, dining sets from everywhere. Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium, right next to Fashion Furniture.
Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like, 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-932-4177. 800-932-4177. 800-932-4177. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Coming soon from Valley PBS, the exclusive documentary film covering 100 years of KMJ. Stay tuned for details. This is KMJ, Fresno Unified's least favorite station.
More on the problems on the Bullard High School campus in the next hour. Had another Fresno Unified family share another video. Got a little bit of backstory to share with you guys. And the video not yet ready to share. We want to make sure that nobody's identity gets revealed. There's also some vulgarity that needs to be stripped out of that, but we're working on getting that ready as well. Now, you may remember last week there was a lot of conversation about the wife of the California Attorney General, Rob Bonta. Assembly member Mia Bonta being a part of Assembly Budget Subcommittee 5. In other words, the Assembly Budget Subcommittee that oversees matters that pertain directly to the Department of Justice. In other words, Mia Bonta was holding the purse strings for her husband's department in the state of California. She is now recusing herself from any AB Subcommittee 5 matters that pertain directly to the State Department of Justice. She had been appointed by Assembly Speaker Rendon as the chairwoman of the Budget Committee earlier this month, this again being the subcommittee that oversees the budget of the California Department of Justice, which means that she had the say-so over the budget for her husband's department. Now, Rendon initially defended the appointment, saying he believed that Assemblymember Bonta would be independent and unbiased. But last week, KCRA pressed the issue. Bonta declined to answer and instead provided statements to other news outlets claiming that she was being targeted because of racism and sexism. Later on, Sunday, Mia Bonta reversed course, released a statement saying that she will recuse herself from all matters directly pertaining to her husband, Rob Bonta's Department of Justice in the state of California. Meanwhile, Gavin Newsom, he built an office for his wife called the Office of the First Partner. It's got 9 staff members, annual budget of $1.2 million a year. Jennifer is a filmmaker who writes and directs gender identity films. California public schools, oh, look, here we go back to the schools, pay her a licensing fee to play those films in class. So wait, if she's working for the state and she's developing this money with taxpayer material, wouldn't we already own that material, and therefore why are we paying a licensing film for material that was paid for by taxpayer dollars to begin with? We'll dive into this story a little bit deeper when we get back. We'll also talk about the latest at Bullard High School and new responses received from the district's chief communications officer and the trustee for the Bullard area, Susan Wittrup. It's the afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. You can listen online at kmjnow.com.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at kmjnow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
For the folks just joining us, we're on round 2 of Solar Squabble with the Clark family. They're naming factors Solar for You considers for battery storage. Viv guessed power output, but unfortunately that earned you a strike.
Yeah, crazy.
Chloe, you're up.
Where it goes?
Leo, really?
Call Energy Concepts instead. Our team of in-house experts will guide you on the home battery technology that best fits your needs. Calling Energy Concepts, the highest rated SunPower elite dealer in the Valley, now that's a power move.
So my name is Celia Gonzalez, and I'm a case manager at Rescue the Children. And I remember my oldest son, he told me, "Mom, find a program and go, Mom." So I ended up taking all four of my kids that weekend, and I went downtown to G Street, and that's where me and my children stood the next 3 nights. I remember getting accepted into Rescue the Children. I remember meeting with the case manager because we meet with them once a week. Through that process, like through the classes, I didn't know I had pushed all this stuff so deep down. I just thought, hey, I got into this drug addiction, and I just need to stop doing drugs and my life's gonna be better. The mission is more than a shelter. The mission is a place of restoration. It's more than a program, a place of healing and a place of community to be able to build people up. To all the supporters of the mission, I just want to say thank you for helping women like me just to be able to have a second chance at life. So thank you.
Donate at FresnoMission.org.
I am a very happy camper because I get to tell you about the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center. Yeah, exactly the same place I was talking to you about 15, 20 years ago. Do you know this local company is 42 years old? 42 years dabbling with trucks. I think they know what they're doing. And right now, I need to address you people that have companies and you people who are farmers with fleet vehicles. This is an area where the Noble Brothers have really carved out their expertise. Whether it's cabinets, truck racks, ladder racks, toolboxes, van interiors, van shelving, and a lot of it, remember I use the F word, Fleet. If you have fleet needs, you need the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center. 2 of them. One out in Sunnyside, the other one on Blackstone near Sierra. I got to know them when they turned a Jeep Wrangler of mine into a masterpiece. And I just got another Jeep. And they're doing it all over again. I can't wait for the finished product. Click nobletruck.com. Noble, N-O-B-I-L-E. If it's a pickup, a van, a Jeep, even a fifth wheel, you totally need the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center since 1980.
Kane Trucking's fleet consists of over 42 trucks and trailers and professional staff, allowing them to handle all of your handling needs for agriculture and construction. You call, we haul.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 1059 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 3 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. Son of a former Fresno City Council member, one of 2 men killed Sunday night. It's been confirmed Felix Hawkins was in front of a hookah lounge on Milburn and Herndon Avenues where a private party going on with about 50 people. Police say an argument happened outside and led to gunfire. Hawkins' mother, Cynthia Sterling, who was in office from 2003 to 2011. The other victim is identified as Keely Moffitt. He died at the hospital. The investigation continues. New policy announced today would make it illegal to possess detached catalytic converters without valid proof of ownership in the city of Fresno. KMJ's Liz Kern says it'll be proposed at this Thursday's Fresno City Council meeting.
Fresno City Council President Tyler Maxwell, Mayor Jerry Dyer, and Fresno Police Chief Paco Balderrama announcing the policy. It would require a person who has a detached catalytic converter to show proof of valid ownership, or it could be a misdemeanor with a $1,000 fine and possible jail time. Recycling companies accepting stolen parts could also lose their permit. Right now, there are no state or federal laws criminalizing stolen catalytic converters unless an officer witnesses the theft firsthand. If approved, the ordinance would go into effect 30 days after its adoption. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Visalia police are preparing for extra patrols after a restaurant attack. Officers say Michael Major ordered food at Nash's Steakhouse yesterday, then pulled out a sledgehammer, started hitting an employee in the back of the head. The workers able to grab the weapon as the 54-year-old ran off to a hospital. That's where he was arrested and revealed another victim. Police went to the address he gave and found a person dead. They're continuing to investigate. There are high-level talks between Russia and China this week. Fox's Jonathan Savage has the latest.
China's top diplomat Wang Yi is in Moscow days after U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken warned him against providing Russia with military support in its war in Ukraine. The so-called no-limits friendship between Russia and China has seen Beijing remain one of the few governments not to condemn the invasion of Ukraine. Wang met Russia's head of national security, who said the West is trying to deter the two allies and preserve global domination. The Kremlin adding Wang could meet Vladimir Putin before his trip comes to an end. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
A little breezy out there through tomorrow morning, 20 to 30 mile-an-hour winds across the valley with gusts at 45 in some places. Afternoon high today is 67, but cooling to the low 50s tomorrow. And then we've got rain the rest of the week on the valley floor with a winter storm warning for the foothills and mountains. About a foot or two of snow at the 1,000-foot level, even a chance for snow on the valley floor tomorrow night and Thursday. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
And taking a look at our Tuesday traffic in the western part of Fresno, the 3200 block of West Dudley. At Marks, there's been a hit and run, no injuries involved there. Also, Millerton Road and 168, there's been a collision with no injuries. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Filtered water in your home is easier than ever. Hey, it's me, Appleton. Taste and feel the difference with LifeSource Water. Visit lifesourcewater.com. Call them, 559-449-8822.
Teresi, streaming live on Alexa, Google Home, and everything else. Philip Teresi on KMJ.
3:04 on your afternoon drive. News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ. Online at KMJNow.com. That's your home for sweet deals, by the way. And a new sweet deal going on sale Friday. $25 gets you $50 to spend at Rocket Dog Gourmet Brats and Brews in Fresno. It's a new sweet deal. It's on sale Friday at 9 at KMJNow.com. That's one of my favorite spots. Couple of reasons. One, location. It's right next door to Heroes Comics. That's like a perfect Saturday afternoon, man. Go hit the comic book store, find a couple of things to read, head over to Rocket Dog, grab a brew, grab some lunch, hang out. It's a good spot, man. When we had, gosh, I guess this was 4 years ago now, we had the guys from the corporate engineering dream team in town. We did a big overhaul. We changed out the automation system, and that was it was a lot of nerds running around the building, updating computers, and just making KMJ and Mega and Y and KISS better, stronger, and longer lasting. And being the only local guy around for the process in the engineering department at the time, I ended up becoming like the default ambassador for local eateries. These guys were supposed to be in town, I think, 5 days. They ended up staying 7. On day 2 or 3, so let's go to Rocket Dog. It's right up the street. It's a great spot. Not stuffy, which is a good thing. And let's go give that a try. And they kind of we're going to a hot dog joint. Okay. They had no idea. I think that in their mind they had the yellow, orange, and brown A-frame fast food joint. They didn't realize that we ended up going back to Rocket Dog for lunch every single day for the rest of their visit. And our VP of engineering, this guy Yancey, the guy's got to be like 6'7". Do you remember him? The giant from the engineering team? The guy was huge. And not unfit. He was like 6'7", 6'8". He was a really, really big guy. And every day, 2 entrees. Every day. I cannot think of higher marks than a group of guys on an expense account choosing to go to the same spot every single day for lunch. They loved it. If you haven't been, give it a try. If you want to give it a try on the cheap, hit the sweet deal Friday morning, 9 a.m., $25 gets you $50 to spend at Rocket Dog. And by the way, $50 will go a long way at Rocket Dog. Check it out at kmjnow.com and be ready to rock on that. I got a funny feeling that's going to be one of those that sells out kind of quick. So we were talking about Gavin Newsom, and I got a couple Gavin Newsom stories for you, but we're starting with the decision to establish the Office of the First Partner, $5 million in funding to build the office, hire 9 staffers, $1.2 million annual budget. Now, Jennifer Newsom's a filmmaker who writes and directs gender identity films. This sounds very Californian, doesn't it? California public schools pay her a licensing fee to play those films in class. Now, one of my questions is, if Jennifer Newsom, operating through the Office of the First Partner and funding the filming and editing and distribution of these films, is doing so with taxpayer money, which $1.2 million a year, I feel like you could crank out a movie or two. Especially if you're talking about classroom infotainment film strips. If she's already using taxpayer money to do that, I'm unclear why public schools would then have to pay a licensing fee back to the state of California for something that was funded with taxpayer money. Now, we've got this reporter, the founder and CEO of Open the Books, Adam Andrzejewski, I think is how it's pronounced. CEO Open the Books, Adam Andrzejewski. He says that it's not totally uncommon for this sort of thing to happen at the federal level, but in this case, it's going a bit deeper. He says, quote, "I think the Newsoms would say this is a virtual circle. But I'm from Illinois. We're very familiar with pay-to-play schemes, and this looks like legalizing pay-to-play." He goes on to say that Jennifer Newsom and her husband, through the state legislature, provided billions for additional counselors in California K through 12 schools. The Association of California School Counselors then said the newly hired professionals would need films and curriculum straight from Jennifer Newsom. What a racket, man. So you use taxpayer money to establish this office to produce this content. Then you use taxpayer money to put friendly people in a position where they can request this content. Then they use more taxpayer money to pay for the content that was already paid for with taxpayer money. I want to know how I get that deal. Talk about milking it, man. All right, so Mia Bonta recuses herself. Jennifer Newsom's continuing to double dip on the taxpayer money and calling it an Illinois, really Chicagoland style pay to play. I think it's right on the nose. So then we go to this, where the governor says that he would like to transform California schools, and so he has announced a $4 billion investment. Gavin Newsom wants to see 1 out of every 3 schools in California become a so-called community school. Community schools not only provide academic instruction, but also comprehensive health care, meals, counseling, tutoring, and social services. Gavin Newsom wants to build socialism schools. First Lady Siebel Newsom, the lady we were just talking about, said, quote, community schools build on California's commitment to giving all children the best start in life and providing families with the resources they need to thrive. California is creating schools where every student and their families can thrive. If a kid goes to school hungry, it makes it difficult to learn. So here's an example. Encina High School and Greer Elementary, 2 schools occupying a single campus in Sacramento. They were given $1 million to transform into a more community-oriented place, providing tutoring before and after school, peer mentoring programs, trauma-informed mental health supports, mobile health care for families, and English classes for adults in the surrounding community. Now, look, I want to be clear. I think that providing tutoring before and after school is a great idea. We've got kids, look at Fresno Unified. 17% graduating with the ability to read at grade level. Less than that graduating with the ability to work a math problem at grade level. Tutoring, I think, is a great idea. Do we not have academically advanced students who would benefit from the opportunity to either earn a little side money or to earn extra credit by tutoring other kids? Peer mentoring programs. Peer counseling has been a part of the school experience since at least the middle 1990s. One of my brothers was a peer counselor at Clovis High School. It was a great program for him. It was fantastic. Intervention, restorative justice back when that meant something other than just not punishing people for doing the wrong thing. Trauma-informed mental health supports. Now we're diving off into healthcare. Again, I want to be clear. Kids who have experienced trauma need mental health care. And I think that the school cooperating with a healthcare provider can be extremely beneficial. But we are now we're starting to dip our toe into something that isn't specifically directly about teaching children to read, to write, to do arithmetic, and to join the workforce. It's not evil, but I'm not sure it's the school's job. Then we get to mobile health care for families. Again, kids in school, if your teeth are rotten out of your head, if you need glasses and you can't see the chalkboard, if you can't hear, if you're unwell for some otherwise easily addressed reason, absolutely those kids need that care. School is supposed to prepare people to join the workforce. Now we're turning into a healthcare clinic, and we're not just talking about students, we're talking about families. So now we've deviated from services to make sure that kids can read and write and do math to becoming a community healthcare provider. And then finally, English classes for adults in the surrounding community. Do I think that parents and families will perform better if they are able to speak the dominant language? Yeah. And by the way, I think that providing an opportunity for people to learn Spanish is probably also not a silly idea. We got a massive workforce that communicates better in Spanish than they do in English. I do not believe that is the role of an elementary school or a high school to offer that to everybody in the community. We've got a group of kids. We've got a cohort that needs to be on campus, that need to be focused on learning. Now, if I want to go to my kid's campus and I want to sit in on a class, if I want to participate as a chaperone in a field trip for my student, I've got to get cleared. I've got to have my ID scanned. And if you want to do chaperoning or anything like that, you've got to let them do a light background check. Now, I don't think that any of that's terrible. I think it's sad that we live in a world where folks feel like that's necessary. But considering the off-putting and sometimes predatory behavior of some people, I can't pretend that I'm aghast at the notion. And since I'm not a dirtbag and I want to be involved with my kid, I say, okay, whatever, scan my ID, let's rock and roll. You need to make sure I'm me, and I'm fine with that. But if we've got the surrounding community coming onto campus to take classes, to learn English, to learn Spanish, to get health care, are we vetting those people the same way that I get checked when I want to go help out with a field trip? Gavin and Jennifer Newsom want to turn the schools into something other than a service for the community where we prepare people to go out and join the workforce upon adulthood. They want to turn them into, I don't even think it's indoctrination in an overt sense. I think it's simply promoting an agenda that has nothing to do with the mission, with the function, with the true purpose of public education. It's not that I think that kids should suffer or go hungry. I don't. I do think that at a certain point, it has to be the parents' responsibility to provide for their kids. A little bit more on this when we get back. It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at traffic, Eucalyptus Road on Aubrey Avenue. This is out towards Los Banos. There's been an injury accident. Emergency vehicles are en route. Millerton Road in 168 in the Fresno area, a collision with no injuries. Also in the Fresno area, Peach Avenue at the off-ramp 168. Hit run, no injuries. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com. You need new blinds or shades? Blindster.com offers custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters with free shipping and prices less than big box retailers. And right now, save 50% off any order during Blindster's President's Day sale. Hurry, sale ends February 23rd. Blindster.com.
It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. Take advantage of huge discounts throughout the entire store. It's time to reward yourself and save big on all in-stock living room furniture, sectionals, and recliners, bedroom sets, mattresses, and accessories, casual or elegant dining room sets, patio furniture, and everything else. During Furniture City's President's Day sale, expect no money down, no interest, and no credit checks. It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. That's incredible. That's Furniture City.
You're never going to change, are you? How can I trust you anymore? One minute you're hot, the next you're cold. They warned me about you. I thought if I just believed in you, we'd prove everyone wrong. But you're just broken. I can't do this anymore. I need to call Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating.
Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating?
How may I help you?
I just broke up with my heater.
I see, ma'am. We get that a lot this time of year. If you purchase a new HVAC system, we'll trade your ex-heater for $1,000.
I don't know if I'm strong enough.
Without a doubt, ma'am. Here at Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating, we offer 0 interest and no payment for 18 months, with no monthly payment. Same as cash.
Finally! My happy ending!
Anytime, ma'am. Just call us at 559-296-9555 to request a free estimate. CLN 635-355.
Hey, it's me, Ray Appleton. Since 1992, I've kind of been the voice of Fresno Acura locally, and I never have seen such a dilemma as the one we just got out of with basically no inventory. Supply chain issues, semiconductor issues, but now Fresno Acura says, we have inventory. You don't have to wait on your car because it's here right now. And to accompany this new inventory, the financing is off the block great. I'm not kidding. I'm not making that up. Check it out yourself. So specifically, what does Fresno Acura have? The most popular car in their line, the MDX. I've had 3 readily available. No, wait, I've had 4. The Acura MDX is the absolute pinnacle of fashion, design, and performance. Unbelievable performance for a sport utility vehicle. And with all of this new inventory, can you imagine the previously owned cars that have been traded in to grab onto these new ones? Fresno Acura on Palm, just north of Herndon. You got to see the MDX. Rated Consumer's Best Buy 8 years in a row. Also rated a top safety pick. You can't go wrong with an MDX. I know.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BEST for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or any gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BEST for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BEST for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
We've all been called to bless kids in our communities, and Cars4Kids.org is helping generous and faithful listeners like you make a difference with that unused or unwanted vehicle. Donate your car, truck, van, motorcycle, or boat in any condition, and your blessing will go directly to kids and provide mental health services, education, food, housing, and basic necessities. So please call 866-835-5437 or give now at Cars4Kids.org. That's Cars4Kids.org. And write off the car, not the kid.
Could you use monthly payments to help meet basic needs, like putting food on the table, paying the rent, or buying new shoes for growing feet? Find out about Supplemental Security Income. You may qualify if your income and financial resources are low and you're 65 or older, or an adult or child with a disability or who is blind. Call 1-800-772-1213 or go to ssa.gov/SSI. Produced by Social Security at U.S. taxpayer expense.
It just takes one stable relationship with a caring adult to help reverse the negative impacts on a child who's experienced abuse or neglect. For foster youth, childhood trauma causes more than physical and emotional pain. It can also lead to lifelong health problems. The good news is that it takes just one CASA, a court-appointed special advocate, to make a difference. Find out how you can help at californiacasa.org today.
3:23 on your afternoon drive. News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Got to switch gears for a minute here. Got a communication from Clovis Unified School District regarding Clovis West High School. First of all, I want to say everybody's fine, and a lockdown has been lifted. Let me just read this to you straight across from Clovis Unified School District. This afternoon at approximately 2:35 p.m., our school received notification from the Fresno Police Department that another call had been received, similar to those law enforcement received earlier this month. An immediate, coordinated response with local law enforcement that included an aerial and ground search of the campus confirmed that our school was cleared to end the lockdown and continue with regular operations. We will continue to work with our local, state, and federal law enforcement partners to ensure we are quick but thorough in our response to any potential risk to student safety. Officers will remain on campus through the end of the day to support our students. So that coming from Clovis West High School through the district communications office. So it happened again. This is number 5 now. An observation from a Clovis West parent that I think bears sharing. There's a lot happening on campus today. There's a state basketball playoff. Of course, there's all the athletic practices. A Clovis West Kasner Foundation meeting. There's going to be a lot of people on campus. And it is not lost on the folks who are on campus to support their students that another one of these calls is coming on a day when there's so many people present. They do not, as yet, have the identity of the person placing these calls. I have been saying since at least the third call, but I believe I started speculating about this after the second call. And I want to be clear that what I'm saying is speculation. I have I have not pursued any elevated access through local law enforcement. I don't know anything that the rest of the Clovis Unified community doesn't already know. I believe that these calls are coming from a Clovis West student, or they are coming from a child who lives in close proximity to Clovis West and maybe isn't even yet old enough to attend Clovis West. I don't think that these calls are coming from North Korea or Russia. I think that they're coming from Northeast Fresno. And with that said, it means that the idiot who is making these calls is known to somebody. And the only thing that I can say about that is turn them in. 498-STOP. That's the number for Crime Stoppers. You can remain totally anonymous, and they are ironclad in their commitment to that. 498-STOP. And if you present them with information that leads to the apprehension of the person making these calls, you will also get a cash reward, which you can collect completely anonymously. The idiot making these phone calls is going to get caught. It might not happen this afternoon, but it's going to happen. Now, I don't know exactly what the reward structure is. And frankly, if you wanted to ask about it and you've got information that leads to the person who's doing this, and that's the reason you're calling, nobody's going to judge. Really, truly, nobody's going to judge. No, we want to get the bad guy. And if that's worth a couple of bucks, it's worth a couple of bucks. But if you know who's doing this, call Crime Stoppers, 498-STOP. Turn them in. Take the money. Because they're going to get into trouble. And at this point, they're going to get into a lot of trouble. Because they're wasting a lot of resources and they're upsetting decent, normal people. And they're endangering other people in the community. That's the other piece of this, is we talk about how, the very first time this happens, it's scary. If you got a kid in school and you've been through one of these lockdowns, it rips your heart out of your chest. And then the second time it happens, and you're looking for answers, and you're wondering, is this it? What was the first time a test? And you're still losing sleep, and you're still having bad dreams, and it's freaking your kids out. The third time it happens, mom and dad are still pretty upset. If you've lived any life, you've got the imagination to conceive of bad things happening. But now the kids are starting to have a reaction of, oh, this nonsense again. Oh, you're wasting my time. I got practice. I got class. You're screwing up my passing period. How am I supposed to sneak a quick kiss with the girlfriend if I'm sitting on lockdown? By the fourth time, the fifth time, now everybody's just mad at you. And the trauma has started to leach away. The intense fear has started to leach away, and it's replaced by anger and resentment and disgust. But even when this is revealed, I speculate to be a case of the delinquent who cried wolf. You're still pulling a massive amount of resources away from all of the other things that we need our law enforcement community out in the community accomplishing. You're pulling off fire trucks, you're pulling off EMTs, and lots of cops. And that means that there is a possibility that somebody else is going to suffer, that somebody else is going to be harmed, somebody who has nothing to do with Clovis West High School, that has no idea this is going on. And I don't know if there's a penal code that covers that. I would imagine that false reports would be punishable. I don't know if you could extend the liability on that, but it absolutely should be. If somebody misses an ambulance call because they're waiting outside Clovis West because of a prank call, and somebody suffers because of that, I think that it needs to be added to whatever bill due is presented to this caller. But what they're doing is wrong. It's not funny. It's not cheeky. It's not amusing. There's nobody on campus who's like, oh, hell yeah, we get to go on lockdown again. If you know who it is, if you think you know who it is, because here's the thing. Maybe you're wrong. Maybe the knucklehead that you think is making these calls is just another big mouth adolescent. So maybe you're wrong. You're still wasting less time offering the option to investigate the individual than this individual is wasting with these calls. And if you're right, even if nobody ever learns your name, nobody ever knows where you got the money to buy that new phone or whatever it is you're going to spend the reward money on, the community's going to be grateful. So if you know who's doing this, if you think you know who's doing this, call 498-STOP and rat them out and take the reward money if you're right and enjoy it. Because eventually this idiot's going to get caught. And when they get caught, I hope the consequences are stiff.
KMJ News now.
It's 3:30 in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. PG&E says it's mobilizing personnel ahead of a significant cold and windy winter storm lasting into the weekend. KMJ's Liz Kern has more details.
PG&E's meteorologists are closely tracking the incoming storm. They expect a stronger push of moisture Thursday into Friday. Wind gusts could get up to 55 miles an hour. Some areas could see 85 miles an hour. Spokesperson Denny Boyle says adverse weather could result in debris falling into power lines, damaging equipment, and interrupting electric service.
We know from past experience that strong winds can push tree limbs into power lines, can break limbs off of trees, throw them into power lines. We've seen instances where winds will blow a variety of things into power lines.
Boyle says stay away from downed power lines. Call 911 to report them. PG&E is activating their local storm center, and they're increasing their staffing. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Police naming the victim struck by a train and killed on Sunday afternoon. They were a married couple, both 57 years old, from Kettleman City. Jorge Escalante was driving and apparently tried to go around a railroad crossing arm. That's when his car was hit by a northbound train near Conejo and Peach Avenues. Police say he and his wife, Guadalupe Borges, died at the scene. No one on the train was hurt. Table Mountain Casino is back open after a fire forced an evacuation. A semi-truck went up in flames yesterday behind the casino near Jackpot Lane and Millerton Road. This forced a group of people to wait outside while crews responded. Officials say they rushed one burn victim to the hospital, but no update on that person's condition or how that fire started. Police continue to investigate. Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
A little breezy out there through tomorrow morning, 20 to 30 mile an hour winds across the valley with gusts at 45 in some places. Afternoon high today is 67, but cooling to the low 50s tomorrow. And then we've got rain the rest of the week on the valley floor with a winter storm warning for the foothills and mountains. About a foot or two of snow at the 1,000-foot level, even a chance for snow on the valley floor tomorrow night and Thursday. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
And taking a look at traffic conditions, southbound 99 from Clinton on down to Belmont and Fresno, much slowness there, slow going. Eucalyptus Road, Aubrey Avenue, actually. This is out towards Los Banos. There's been an injury accident. Cleanup is going on there. And in the Fresno area again, Peach Avenue off-ramp at eastbound 180, a hit and run with no injuries. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Clark Pest Control. For over 60 years, Clark Pest Control has been California's leader in pest control technology. If you need help getting rid of pests, termites, rodents, mosquitoes, and much more, contact Clark Pest Control for a free estimate today. Call 1-800-WE-NEED-YOU. That's 1-800-WE-NEED-YOU. Or visit clarkpest.com.
Find inspiration at the 37th Annual Fresno Home and Garden Show, March 3rd through 5th at the Fresno Fairgrounds. While there, be sure to visit one of our special exhibitors, Noble Credit Union.
At Noble Credit Union, we understand how hard you've worked building your home's equity. So now, let it work for you. Improvements like a remodeled kitchen or bathroom, or a new patio or pool will add instant value to your home. Did you know you could even use the equity in your home to take a once-in-a-lifetime vacation or pay college tuition? Noble Credit Union is here to help you make smart decisions with low-rate loan options. Visit our booth and find out about our special home show offer, guaranteed to save you money. Noble Credit Union is an equal housing lender and is federally insured by NCUA. Noble Credit Union, where you're worth more.
And be sure to visit Noble Credit Union at the 37th Annual Fresno Home and Garden Show, March 3rd through 5th at the Fresno Fairgrounds. Info at fresnoshows.com.
Operations are minimizing. The demand for storage is higher than ever, and driving to an off-property storage facility isn't exactly practical. 20 to 45-foot repurposed shipping containers for personal and work storage are great. Container Stop will deliver yours to you, but Container Stop doesn't stop there. What about a tack room for equestrian use? Utility room for a gym, auto or carpentry shop with roll-up door. Here's the coolest part. Container Stop can even deliver custom home space containers for construction site offices, working from home space, studio use, or even adding a living space. Yeah, complete with finished floors, walls, windows, bathroom, kitchenette, heat, and AC. Hard to imagine? Then don't. Visit ContainerStop.com and see for yourself. They have what you need, or will literally make it. Looking for short or long-term storage solutions? Stop. Nobody does storage containers better than Container Stop. Their website's easy. It's their name, then .com. ContainerStop.com.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Right now, during Staples Sit-a-thon, select chairs are up to 50% off, like the Union & Scale Essentials Mesh Back Task Chair, now just $89.99 at Staples. In-store only, offer ends $225 while supplies last. Staples, the working and learning and saving store.
Bigger, so much better, he will beat every price. Nothing changes there. What? Right next to Fashion Furniture across from Lowe's, it can only be Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium, baby.
Got a cybersecurity problem? For security breaches, network penetration testing, regulatory compliance, and incident response. Breadcrumb Cybersecurity. Breadcrumb, because evidence is everywhere.
Teresi tackles Fresno and California issues every day. Philip Teresi on News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Rolling up on 3:40 on a Tuesday afternoon at News Talk 580 and 1059 KMJ. Phone's open for your calls at 490-5858 or toll free. You can join me at 800-776-5858. Coming back around to this, Governor Newsom, let's start making our schools into community projects. A survey conducted by a group called Populous Insights. The survey titled Purpose of Education. Well, the purpose of education, the purpose of public education is, or should be, and certainly was established as a means to prepare the population to go to work as they reached adulthood. It was to give you the ability to read, to write, to do math, to communicate and to function in a mixed environment so that you could go and join the workforce, so that you could get a job, or for a few kids, go to college and be a contributing member of society. So it's interesting because the way that this is phrased, you really could steer it a couple of different ways. Populist Insight says, recognizing that Americans want to see changes in the K-12 education system is only part of the story. Understanding what the public wants from the education system is of critical importance to identifying what those changes should be. The public is a very, very broad term. As we learned last week, you can say, well, the public barely knows that KMJ exists, and only 5% of families in the Fresno Unified School District ever listen to KMJ. Well, if you conduct a survey of 733 people, sure, you could say that. Wouldn't be accurate, wouldn't be a representative sample, basically boils down to about 6 families per campus, which means that 6 people spoke for 2,500 families on the Bullard campus. But technically, you conducted a survey where multiple people gave you an answer and you then extrapolated out from that. It doesn't mean it's valid. It's just proof positive that you can manipulate statistics to say whatever you want. But yes, understanding what the public wants from the education system is important. And then they say that consistently through 2020, 2021, 2022, the top 2 priorities for Americans in education remain the same. 1, first and foremost, students develop practical skills. Well, that's not just reading and writing and arithmetic. It's also managing your personal finances, maybe knowing how to prepare a meal, maybe knowing how to set and keep an appointment. Considering the failures that are happening in so many kids' homes, yeah, I can see where teaching a child how to make mac and cheese without ruining a hockey jersey might be a worthwhile pursuit. I can see how teaching a child what an appointment is, how to ask for one, and how to keep that appointment is probably a necessary thing, especially if we're talking about things like joining and participating in the workforce. And then the number 2 priority. Students are able to think critically to solve problems and make decisions. This was one of the goals that was theoretically tied into the so-called Common Core curriculum. And of course, Common Core eventually came to be synonymous with some kind of lunatic new math and this sort of bohemian civic instruction, neither of which have anything to do with reading, with writing, with being able to balance a checkbook or count to 10 with your shoes on. And it ultimately turned into this sort of punchline and culture wars football. But yeah, actually, students being able to think critically and solve problems or make decisions would be absolutely essential to going out and participating in a workforce. And this is why students, especially as you get into secondary education, for the students who have curiosity and for the students who show aptitude, vocational education would be absolutely essential, as would philosophical education, literally philosophy classes, psychology classes, advanced civics classes that teach you about more than just when you turn 18, you're supposed to vote, but actually teach you about like what the consequences of voting can be and how to sort through campaign mailers and the weird doublespeak that we see turn up on ballot measures. Now, they say that a notable exception was amongst black families who prioritized understanding how to participate in a democracy over the practical skills and career preparation, showing that one size fits all is not necessarily going to be of service to every facet of the community. Now, I think that a substantial civic education should go hand in hand with history. It should go hand in hand with economics. It should go hand in hand with government as a concept. Kids absolutely should be taught how to engage. Not what they should engage on, not why the teacher thinks they need to go out and raise Cain. But teaching a kid how to participate in a democracy, absolutely. When you get into secondary, meaning high school, yes. It should be a part of the government education all day long, 100%. Because again, if we're teaching people how to go out and contribute to society and function in the workforce, understanding how people get elected has to be a part of that. Understanding what your role is as a franchise holder, in other words, a voter and a taxpayer, absolutely essential. Then we get into the fuzzy. Overall, Americans want students who can think for themselves, a practical education and individualized education. A majority, according to this survey, believe more things about the system should change. Although they specifically say change, not improve. A quarter would like to see nearly everything in the system change. And then this conclusion, in other words, Americans prioritize an adaptive, individualized education that stands in stark contrast to an education system designed to offer the same type of support system and the same amount of time to learn a new concept or skill. We didn't used to do that. It used to be that if you hadn't mastered a new concept or a skill, you failed the class. And you went back and you repeated the class. It wasn't about the feelings, it was about the mastery of the subject matter. And that's why some classes, like reading and writing and arithmetic, should be mandatory classes. You have to be able to read, to write, to do basic math in order to get a high school diploma. I actually think that you should be a little bit further along than all that. But at the core, read, write, do basic math. As far as individualizing the education system, we don't put enough money into the education system to manage what's already on its plate. And telling the taxpayers that more money is going to solve the problem when you've got $1 million in salary between a superintendent's office and any student on any campus in any district in California over median size. Of course they're not voting for that. Of course they're not paying for that. You fattened these administrations like ticks. But you want to do individualized, specialized, ultra-specific educations that include a bunch of stuff that isn't reading and writing and doing basic math. Instead of holding a child back, you want the taxpayers to shell out more and more money to hopefully get them up to speed before they cross the line with their peer group into adulthood. It's backwards thinking, and it doesn't surprise me. It's exactly what Gavin Newsom wants.
And taking a look at Tuesday afternoon traffic, southbound 99 from the area of Shields on down to Belmont. Very, very slow going. And out towards Los Banos, Eucalyptus Road and Aubrey Avenue, there's been an injury accident. Cleanup is in progress there. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Mattress Firm's President's Day sale is here. Shop and save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets. Plus, get a $300 instant gift good towards sleep accessories. Find your dream bed at Mattress Firm. Then cozy up on your new bed, because there's nothing better than staying in.
We always fix what you need fixed. Auto House of Clovis.
Hey y'all, this is Gabe Navarro with a pro tip from Auto House of Clovis. Your vehicle is one of your biggest investments and one of the few items you need to be able to depend on. Your vehicle has been there for you through thick and thin, and we intend to keep it that way. We know times are a little uncertain these days, but our commitment to quality, reliable service is always guaranteed. At Auto House of Clovis, we aim to make the not-so-enjoyable process of automotive repair as easy as possible, so your only worry is what to make for dinner. Give our team a call at 559-292-2028. And if you're looking to join Daryl and his team, we're taking applications for technician positions of all skills and interests.
We always fix what you need fixed. Auto House of Clovis.
It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. Take advantage of huge discounts throughout the entire store. It's time to reward yourself and save big on all in-stock living room furniture, sectionals and recliners, bedroom sets, mattresses and accessories, casual or elegant dining room sets, patio furniture, and everything else. During Furniture City's President's Day sale, expect no money down, no interest, and no credit checks. It's Furniture City's President's Day sale. That's incredible. That's Furniture City.
Managing your online presence takes time, effort, and expertise. It can overwhelm even the savviest business owner. So, meet Cumulus Boosts. We're experts at boosting the online presence for businesses of every type. We make sure potential customers can easily find you and really like what they find. Your website, online listings, consumer reviews, and more. Cumulus Boost. Online at cumulusboost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Coming up this March 25th at The Grand in downtown Fresno, Community Health Systems Founders Club invites you to experience an evening of fire and ice. This new must-attend event supports local neuroscience care and building the future Bob Smitkamp Family Neuroscience Institute.
Thanks to major sponsors, Facility Designs, West Tech Systems, and Queering General.
It's not too late to become a sponsor or buy a table. Go to kmjnow.com for more information.
Is it new or pre-owned? It's hard to tell when you drive a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz from Mercedes-Benz of Fresno. The closest to new you can get. That comes with another surprise, an affordable price. Every certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz gets a 125-point inspection by certified Mercedes-Benz technicians and an unlimited mileage warranty. That's safety and more safety. See how affordable like new can be at Mercedes-Benz of Fresno, Palm and Herndon. See store for details.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BEST for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BEST for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BEST for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
Vote on the Daily Buzz question at KMJNow.com. Sponsored by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Center.
Rolling up at 4 o'clock on your Tuesday afternoon. My name is Philip Teresi. You're listening to News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. So the governor would very much like to transform schools in California. He wants to spend another $4 billion on this so-called community schools plan, a plan that doesn't specifically say we're going to teach kids to read, to write, and prepare them to join the workforce, but we're going to provide English language lessons for the community in general. We're going to provide health care to entire families, stuff that I don't think is evil in and of itself, but that is simply not the responsibility of the public school system. And it shouldn't become the responsibility of the public school system. The public school system already can't do all of the things we ask it to do. And there is no earthly way that you are going to get the taxpayers of the state of California to cough up more money for a system that is bloated and top-heavy, and in the case of a district like Fresno Unified, so much more concerned with the appearances upon which the superintendent, the board of trustees, administration are graded on than they are with getting kids out of school with the ability to go participate in the workforce, which is the actual purpose of public school. That's it. That's the actual purpose of public school. And it's a service to the entire community. That's why we tied it to our property taxes to guarantee that the funding would continue to come in. Fresno Unified has a $2 billion budget as it is. 11,000 plus employees as it is. And when kids graduate from Fresno Unified High Schools, they can't read, they can't write. And they're in no way ready to go out and participate in the wider world and the wider economy. So while Gavin Newsom wants to take $4 billion to put into this, let's be nice and call it well-intentioned idiocy, instead of demanding that schools teach children to read, to write, to do math, prepare them to go out and function in the world as adults. Let's see what Gavin Newsom has been doing. Well, they missed the deadline. The Newsom administration missed the deadline to secure funding for toxic waste cleanup, leaving low-income and minority families to deal with the consequences. While there continues to be outcry for a solution to homelessness, Governor Newsom still hasn't picked a plan to make sure that we get any kind of results from the billions of dollars in spending that we do as a state. High-speed rail, the boondoggle, get a load of this. The federal government turned down high-speed rail for more than $1 billion in funding because the project is, quote, not cost-effective. The federal government says it's not cost-effective. The nonpartisan Legislative Analyst's Office predicts that the state's deficit will grow by $7 billion and that Governor Newsom's budget is going to break the bank of the state of California, the world's fourth largest economy, in the years to come. Population of the state of California is continuing to shrink as Californians get out looking for lower cost of living and higher quality of life and finding it almost anywhere else in the country. And, of course, California, despite being the world's fourth largest economy, has the highest poverty rate and homeless population and the second highest housing and gas prices. Oh, and a massive, massive school district whose kids can't read and write when they graduate. Right here in the heart of the state. What's Gavin Newsom doing? I don't know. But he got a lot of love in Washington Post for being sassy with governors from red states. Yay.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
Passion, 60 years of experience, a 10-year manufacturer warranty, modern innovations, and bilingual staff. This is what Twister Sprayers brings with their dedicated line of barn blasters. Our revolutionary airflow design improves air turbulence, effectively atomizing chemicals to both sides of leaves. Our direct drive system is lightweight with low RPM requirements and fuel savings up to 60%. Our design eliminates overspray and minimizes maintenance. We're located in Fresno, Bakersfield, Los Banos, and Manteca. Visit twistersprayers.com.
For a better you in 2023, get better water. LifeSource is the whole house water system that will help you be a better you. Clean and healthy water is essential to look and feel your best. Unfiltered chlorinated water just doesn't cut it. LifeSource removes the bad stuff and keeps the good stuff. No chlorine showers or baths. Feel great, look great. Get LifeSource water. Call 559-330-1850 for a free consultation or visit lifesourcewater.com. LifeSource, taste and feel the difference.
What a year it's been for Best Concrete Blocks. Seems like everybody's finding a way to use these versatile and affordable blocks. Walls, barriers, material separation, they're nearly indestructible, and now Best Concrete Blocks is introducing Pretty Boy, a great choice for adding an aesthetically appealing block with a beautiful stonemason's design. The Pretty Boy block is perfect for areas that have public visibility. See Pretty Boy for yourself at bestconcreteblocks.com or call 288-70 7902.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out heart-stopping letters, aggressively garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance, and you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it seem impossible to ever get out of debt. Don't let the tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, the #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in the Fresh Start Initiative, one of the biggest breaks that the IRS has ever offered. If you qualify, you could save thousands. Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, they'll fight to get you the best deal possible. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-932-4177. 800-932-4177. 800-932-4177.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Tom Sharp for Maximum Airgun.
Firearm regulations dogging your favorite hobby? Skip the restrictions and dive into the world of air rifles. 22 caliber through 50 cal, only at Maximum Airguns in Fresno. From high power slugs to specialized scopes, we have everything you need to eradicate pests, target shoot, or try your hand at precision competitions. Buy today, shoot today. Maximum Airgun specializes in paintball, airsoft, and we have a huge selection of air rifles. Maximum Airgun on Blackstone next to Me and Ed's Pizza. You will be amazed.
Tired of electric bills and rolling blackouts? Go solar and battery storage American style with Semper Solaris. Visit SemperSolaris.com.
News Talk 580 AM, 1059 FM, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
KMJ.
It's 4 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. This news update sponsored by Best Concrete Blocks, the old Fresno company with new ideas. Clovis West High School briefly placed on lockdown at about 2:30 this afternoon after being notified by Fresno police. Another call had been received, similar to those received by local law enforcement earlier this month. An immediate coordinated response with law enforcement, including an aerial and ground search of the campus, confirming the school was clear to end the lockdown and continue with regular operations. As a precautionary measure, Fort Washington Elementary briefly placed on that lockdown. It was lifted in less than 10 minutes to allow law enforcement across the street, normal operations quickly resuming. Yosemite climbing legend is found dead in the Canadian Rockies. KMJ's Liz Kern has more.
42-year-old Zach Milligan lived at Yosemite National Park for 20 years. 13 were spent living in a cave while he worked for a cleaning service. Milligan was a high-level free soloist, climbing alone without ropes. He gained worldwide recognition along with his friend Jason Torlano for becoming the first two people to descend Yosemite's Half Dome on skis in February of 2021. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police say he died last week from a fall in the Canadian Rockies. Milligan's body was discovered on February 12th at the bottom of Polar Circus, a nearly 2,300-foot tall ice cliff in Jasper National Park. An autopsy's been scheduled to determine Milligan's cause of death. Police say it appears to be accidental. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Police searching for a gunman accused of shooting a convenience store clerk during a robbery Monday night. It occurred just after 11 p.m. at the Gulf gas station on Fresno Street and Ashland Avenue. Two women and a man reportedly got into a fight with the clerk after an initial disagreement. The man shot the clerk in the stomach during the altercation. He was taken to the hospital for treatment. Officers did arrest the two women involved who were facing several assault charges, but the shooter remains at large. Some cities concerned about the high cost of living are considering proposals to raise minimum wage and enact a universal cost of living. Fox's Grady Trimble explains.
This year alone, almost half of the states in the U.S. increased the minimum wage, as well as here in Washington, D.C. New York Governor Kathy Hochul wants to raise the minimum wage in the Empire State even more. Her proposal would tie that minimum wage to inflation each year and could see it rise to more than $16 an hour in the next 3 years. Other cities and counties are trying something different, just giving out money through universal basic income pilot programs. A number of them are using federal taxpayer dollars from the American Rescue Plan to hand out as much as $1,000 per month to low-income families.
Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
A little breezy out there through tomorrow morning, 20 to 30 mile-an-hour winds across the valley with gusts at 45 in some places. Afternoon high today is 67, but cooling to the low 50s tomorrow. tomorrow. And then we've got rain the rest of the week on the valley floor with a winter storm warning for the foothills and mountains. About a foot or two of snow at the 1,000-foot level, even a chance for snow on the valley floor tomorrow night and Thursday. From the Fox 26 Weather Center for KMJ, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at traffic in Tulare County, North Smith Road and East Woods Avenue, there's been a collision, no injuries involved there. Southbound 99, this is in Merced County, at the Atwater Merced Expressway. There's been a collision with unknown injuries. With KMJ Traffic in for Greg Lane, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now.
I just think you're flat wrong.
The Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 105.9 KMJ.
It's 4:05 on your afternoon drive. My name is Philip Teresi. It's News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Online at KMJNow.com. You can watch the show on Facebook Live, on Twitch.tv, or on YouTube at Drive KMJ. That is also where you will find us all over social media at Drive KMJ. So last week, we spent a couple of days talking about a situation at Bullard High School and a cheerleader getting not just beat up, but battered by another student, a female wrestler. And video got shot and released on social media, adding insult to injury. I got put in touch with Mom. I like her. She's a cool lady, and she's raising a cool kid. And to my frustration, getting any kind of serious communication going about this with Bullard High School and with the Fresno Unified School District, it's been met with I'd call it reluctance, but I'm not sure that that's the correct word. I had a trustee tell me that she would not speak to me and therefore would not speak to you, accusing me of sensationalizing this very ugly story. And the story begins with the battery, of course. And it then continues to the mother dissatisfied with the milquetoast answers she was getting from campus administration, going to social media asking for advice about what to do. Not disclosing private details about the child who assaulted her daughter, simply asking, how do I handle this? Why is my answer from the school this very tepid, unsatisfying thing that seemed to her to indicate that the worst that the child who battered her child could expect to face would probably just be a suspension. Now, the school district and law enforcement, they have laws. They cannot disclose this child's name, and they cannot discuss the discipline taken against an individual student. And that's something that we all understand because this is a minor child. What she did was wrong, and there have to be consequences for that. But this is a minor child who, with the appropriate discipline and subsequent structure and support, can learn from this mistake and can do better and can go off to live a productive life. And a stupid moment of out-of-control adolescent rage should not be the thing that defines this child for the rest of their life. It's not even something that should define this child for the entirety of their young adulthood. And not even the victim or the victim's mother want to see this child ostracized or cast out or destroyed. Mom just wants to know that her kid can be safe when she goes to school. And that is not an unreasonable thing to ask. But there's all this double talk and all of this liability averse language that she's handed. And so she goes to social media and she asks what to do. And that prompts a response, again, from the campus administration, asking her to take that post down because it makes the school look bad. Now, mom chose to acquiesce to that in the interest of trying to rescue this relationship so that her child could go back to school and continue to function on campus and be with her friends and graduate. The district, in the meantime, and in particular the chief communications officer for the district, started with a very kind of obtuse sort of reply to some questions that I sent about general disciplinary standards. And then it got weird and nasty and rude and extremely dismissive of the interest of the public, not just Fresno Unified families, although absolutely the families at Bullard High School have a right to know that their children are safe when they go to school, that this situation is being taken seriously and dealt with seriously. But the community at large, because again, schools exist to prepare people to participate in the community at large. And the community at large pays for these schools. In Fresno Unified, that's a $2 billion budget that is funded by your taxpayer dollars. And the response from the district was shockingly dismissive of your interest in these outcomes. Again, not the specific discipline rendered to this child. But what is the school doing about this? What is the school putting in place moving forward? And is the school going to make sure that the victim of this battery is safe when she returns to campus? And the school, knowing full well that I'm in communication with the victim's family, gave me a nasty reply that blew you off as a community. Because if we're going to be really serious about all this, I need to be perfectly clear with you. I am not a journalist. I am not a reporter. I am usually not a particularly serious person. I don't want to be serious all of the time. I don't want to have to color in the lines that a journalist would have to color in. If I'm being honest, that sounds boring as hell, and I don't want to do it. And I wouldn't be here if that was the job I had been hired to do. My job is opinion. It is editorializing. It's really, truly, at the end of the show, it's about getting you guys to stick around for a few more minutes. That's what I'm here to do. I'm not a journalist. I have no obligation to objectivity. I only have an obligation to attract and retain an audience. And by the way, any talk show host who says otherwise is full of crap. Local, national, syndicated, regional, any of them. If they say otherwise, they're full of crap. We're not journalists. And all you got to do is go out and fact check any talk show host, including me, to determine that there's a whole lot of opinion in these shows. But I find myself bristling, not because of my ego or my sense of entitlement. Again, in a different timeline, instead of sitting here and talking to you guys about the news of the day, I'm sitting here and I'm telling you about the latest Led Zeppelin reunion rumor, and to stick around because Mandatory Metallica is on the way at 5 o'clock. Because that's what I started doing. That's all I ever pictured radio being for me. And that was a lot of fun. This is usually a lot more fun. So I reached out to the Fresno Unified School District again today. This time I reached out because another Fresno Unified family shared another video of another act of extreme violence on the Bullard High School campus. Now, I cannot yet share that video with you because we're in the process of editing it to guarantee the anonymity of the people shown in the video. Because even though you have not one but two aggressors in this video, and even though a school district employee is a grown adult, there's a reasonable expectation of privacy that has been put into place, in part by the obviously flawed Yonder Pouch policy, since it's students who keep shooting these videos. In the new video, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what happened. In the new video, two boys are squaring off. They're outside in a breezeway between two buildings. And they're squaring off in that weird chicken dance that teenage boys do when they're trying to look like they know how to fight. And they're swearing at each other. And then blows are thrown. And from out of frame to the right, another student comes running in, bellowing more profanities, attacks the victim, knocks him to the ground, starts kicking him in the head. The victim is obviously hurt and has given up and is just trying to protect his head and his face. Unlike the video of the female wrestler attacking the cheerleader, in this video, a staff member appears and attempts to intervene and gets in between the kicker and the battery victim and has marginal success breaking up the confrontation. And that's the entirety of the video. It's only 6 or 7 seconds, I think. It's not a long video. Now, I've had it verified that it was, in fact, an incident on the Bullard High campus. I also know a little bit about what motivated this. And I'm going to tell you about that here in just a minute, because it is, at this time, third-party information. I don't have it verified. But if it is true, it is another layer of concern that we need to address with the Fresno Unified School District and with the campus administration at Bullard High School. Because if this backstory that I was given by a normally reliable source is accurate, we've got a problem, a real serious problem. And Yonder pouches are not the solution. It's the afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. My name's Philip Teresi. Phones are open for your calls at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. Along with the background on this video, I will also share with you what responses I have received so far from Trustee Wittrup and Chief Communications Officer for the Fresno Unified School District, Nikki Henry, upon receipt of this new video. Stick around. It's on the way on KMJ.
And taking a look at afternoon traffic in the Visalia area, northbound 99 at the Bardsley Avenue off-ramp. There has been a collision with no injuries. Also in Tulare County, North Smith and East Watts Road, there's been a collision with no injuries. A particular warning, the wind has really picking up, so be careful of blowing dust, particularly over on the west side of the valley. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Inflation goes up. Do you feel like you need to refinance your car to fill up the gas tank? What if 2 years ago someone offered to sell you a lifetime supply of gas at $2.75 a gallon, but you told them no? Today, you would be kicking yourself. Right now, Planet Solar has that same offer for you on your electric bill. As inflation goes up, so does your utility bill. Lock in your energy prices today with a new Planet Solar system. Planet Solar is locally owned and operated in Clovis. They're big enough to offer you all the best brands and in-house financing, but small enough to give you the personal service you deserve. Call Planet Solar to find out how to lock in your electricity costs today. You'll be glad you did. Call them at 559-228-9245 or find them on the web at planetsolar.com. That's 228-9245 or planetsolar.com. License number 938313.
Hi, this is Julie Vogt with Roger Vo's Performance Auto Diesel and Air, your dealership alternative, proudly serving the Central Valley for more than 46 years. We have the expert staff and diagnostic capabilities to take care of whatever type of vehicle you drive: gas, diesel, flex fuel, car, truck, SUV, RV, or motor coach. We're proud to be a AAA approved facility, a GM and Ford quality installer with a nationwide 2-year or 24,000 mile warranty program. From routine maintenance services to diagnostics and major repairs, even Titan auxiliary fuel tank installations. If you've even thought about a performance upgrade, ask for JJ, our performance expert. Air conditioning repairs and part sales? We do that. We offer a courtesy shuttle service. Vehicle pickup and delivery is also available. Call Rose and she'll happily take care of the rest. 635-3288. That's 635-3288. Roger Vo's Performance Auto Diesel and Air. The best thing about living in Visalia.
Donate your old vehicle to carsforkids.org, the best car vehicle donation program. Your generosity changes the lives of kids right here in our community with a second chance at a better future. Before you sell or give away that old vehicle in any condition, please donate it to carsforkids.org. Carsforkids.org picks up cars, trucks, motorcycles for free. Plus, you'll get a $50 Visa gift card. It's so easy to donate to carsforkids.org. Please, write off the car, not the kid.
Mr. World here, about to take the plunge on the world's fastest roller coaster. I hope it's as fast as the in-store labs at Eyeglass World. When you drop in there, they make your glasses the same day. You should give it a whirl. Just remember to keep your hands and feet inside the Eyeglass World at all times.
Get 2 pairs of glasses for $89. Fast at Eyeglass World, the world's best way to buy glasses. Visit eyeglassworld.com to schedule your exam online and for offer details.
Farmers and growers, are you looking to find the best agricultural resources in one location? Get connected with more than 30 agricultural companies, from everyday products to custom farm services. Give the Ag Center a call at 209-454-5700. The Ag Center offers farmers throughout California assistance and support to help take on the daily challenges of farm management. Learn more on how the Ag Center can help you at www.theagcenter.com.
Coming up this March 25th at The Grand in downtown Fresno, Community Health Systems Founders Club invites you to experience an evening of fire and ice. This new must-attend event supports local neuroscience care and building the future Bob Smitkamp Family Neuroscience Institute.
Thanks to major sponsors, Facility Designs, West Tech Systems, and Queering General.
It's not too late to become a sponsor or buy a table. Go to kmjnow.com for more information.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
This is KMJ, Fresno Unified's least favorite station.
422 on a Tuesday afternoon. I'm Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Appreciate you guys being with me. Phones are open for your calls at 490-5858 and toll free at 800-776-5858. So over the weekend, a Fresno Unified family reached out to me and shared another video that is circulating on social media. Another fight on the Bullard campus, another student getting kicked in the head on the Bullard campus. And I was able to get third hand, and I want to be clear, it's third hand information. So I don't know for absolutely certain but that this is correct, but the source of the information is a normally reliable person. I'm not able to tell you guys who it is at this time for good reason. But what I was told is that this new video of this fight was the result of a vape pen debt. The victim apparently requested and received from one or both of the perpetrators a THC vape pen, but did not pay them for the vape pen in a timely fashion. So what you were seeing, allegedly, was a drug dealer beating up a fellow student over a $40 high. Now, I haven't had that confirmed, and I am not certain that I'm ever going to have that confirmed by law enforcement because of all of the privacy stuff that revolves around dealing with minors. But if that is true, it adds another layer to some of what's going wrong on this particular high school campus. Now, do I believe that Bullard High is the only school where there are problems on campus? No, I don't. Do I believe that Fresno Unified is the only school district where there are problems on campus? No, not for a minute. Do I believe that the lack of response from the district to good faith requests for assurance that these issues are being dealt with is problematic? Yeah, it's a problem. Now, today, I sent this video to the communications officer for the Fresno Unified School District, Nikki Henry. I sent it to Bullard High School Principal Armand Tarigian. I sent it to Bullard Area Trustee Susan Wittrup. And I sent it to Fresno Unified School District Superintendent, Dr. Bob Nelson. My email starts out saying, please see the attached video. It appears to be another fight and head kicking on the Bullard High campus. As you can imagine, there's families reaching out from all over the district. And I'd like to be able to share some assurance that Bullard High and the Fresno Unified School District are acting to ensure student safety on campus. To reiterate my original questions, and these were the questions that I sent to Nikki Henry, Principal Tarigian, Trustee Wittrup, and Superintendent Nelson when I saw the first video, the topic of our conversation last week. And again, I ask for no student-specific information, no incident-specific information. What I do ask is, what is the Fresno Unified or Bullard High policy for involving law enforcement when a battery is committed on campus? Does that policy have any exceptions? Does that policy have any exceptions for mutual combat? Because I do think that there is a difference between a couple of teenage boys punching each other in the nose and a battery that is as one-sided as what we've seen in these two videos. I ask, what is the Fresno Unified and Bullard High? Looks like I stepped on it when I wrote it here. What is the Fresno Unified or Bullard High policy regarding parent-guardian communication in the event of a fight or assault and battery? Does that policy include discouraging families from disclosing the facts of a disciplinary or criminal issue involving their child? What are the possible consequences of a student assaulting another student? If a parent or student has evidence of a crime, like a phone shot video, should they share it with campus administration, district administration, law enforcement, or some other entity? And finally, will a Bullard student be disciplined for capturing video or photos of a crime if they're found to have violated the Yonder Pouch policy at Bullard High School in order to do so? And I finish saying, again, I'd appreciate some time with any of the primary administrators in the Bullard chain of command, Tarigian, Wittrup, or Nelson. My audience, Fresno Unified families, and the community at large deserve better than to be blown off in the hope of saving face. Now, I did get a different response this time than what I received in the previous round of communication. From Trustee Wittrup, I received a short note, but much more constructive than the last communication. Trustee Wittrup says, quote, I'm continuing to keep a close watch regarding ongoing campus safety issues at Bullard High School, including the second video of a campus fight published within a single week. The individual involved in this recent campus incident has been referred to the Fresno County's criminal justice partners and will be subject to the fullest extent of discipline allowed by the California Education Code. Further, in light of the string of violent incidents on Bullard High's campus, it is high time to conduct a full-scale review of campus safety capabilities and policies to adequately protect our students from violence. Our top obligation to Fresno Unified families is to keep children safe while preparing them for the future. The latter cannot occur without the prior. Thank you, Susan Wittrup, FUSD trustee, Area 7 Bullard. I am pleased to hear this commitment from Trustee Wittrup to keeping an eye on the situation. I am pleased to hear the commitment to improving the situation at Bullard High School. I am also pleased to hear that the school and or the district is involving the county's criminal justice partners. I'm relieved to hear that the trustee for Bullard is ready to conduct a full-scale review of campus safety capabilities and policies. And I agree that if you can't keep the kids safe, you can't prepare them for the future. And so I consider this a victory to get this kind of a response. From Chief Communications Officer Nikki Henry, I received an acknowledgement that she has received my request and that they are going to work on a response to that request, which again seems to me to be an adequate response while they prepare an answer to those questions. We cannot allow this to continue at any campus. And we cannot allow the school district to ignore this or to poo-poo any segment of the community that seeks understanding and that seeks reassurance that the issue is being taken seriously, that it's going to be dealt with in a serious way. Because I don't believe that even kids who screw up this badly should be thrown away. I do believe that they should be punished. And I do believe that a discipline and a structure should be imposed on them so that the opportunity to do further harm is taken away from them. So that the students on campus who follow the law and keep their hands to themselves can attend class and can participate in campus activities without fear of physical violence. When I hear back from Chief Communications Officer Henry, I will absolutely share that with you, as I've shared all of this. And there is more to come. It's the afternoon drive on KMJ. We're going to check in with Jim Miller for an update of headlines now in the KMJ newsroom.
KMJ News now.
It's 4:30 in Fresno. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. An investigation underway after a body discovered in a Tulare County field Monday. The man found about 3:45 near Highway 43 and Avenue 152. It's unclear how long the body was there. The man not yet identified. 13 arrested one day. That's the result of a DUI checkpoint Saturday in Fresno. Police believe all the drivers were either drunk or under the influence of drugs. Those facing a first-time offense face more than $13,000 in fines and penalties, as well as a suspended driver's license. This is all a part of the program Go Safely California. The next DUI enforcement operation is scheduled for March the 11th. Winter storm warning is currently in effect for Yosemite National Park and surrounding areas. Heavy snow is forecast in the park and outlying foothills tonight through Saturday. National Park Service says to prepare for long traffic delays and road closures. The 39th president of the U.S., Jimmy Carter, remains in hospice care. Fox's William Lejunas reports from Plains, Georgia, on the town's ailing native son.
On the former president's medical condition, what we can tell you is the 500 people who live here in Plains, Georgia, are happy to have their favorite son home. It was after a series of health problems that Jimmy Carter on Saturday opted to receive hospice care at his home that he and Rosalind built back in 1961. So what does that mean? Well, hospice care is meant to provide comfort, provide care, and reduce pain in patients who are typically, but not exclusively, diagnosed with a terminal illness with no more than 6 months to live, though some do. Doctors and nurses, caregivers, they'll manage the symptoms and reduce suffering, but not provide life-saving care.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Afternoon high today is 67, but cooling to the low 50s tomorrow. And then we've got rain the rest of the week on the valley floor with a winter storm warning for the foothills and mountains. About a foot or two of snow at the 1,000-foot level. Even a chance for snow on the valley floor tomorrow night and Thursday. Wind speeds this afternoon are around 20 to 30 miles an hour with 45-mile-an-hour gusts. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at traffic, be aware of a wind advisory this afternoon. There could be areas of blowing dust, cutting visibility down to very, very bad conditions. In the Visalia area, northbound 99, Barsley Avenue off-ramp, there's been a collision with no injuries. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Turn to the experts with Carrier.
The following takes place in the warehouse at All Britain Heating and Air.
Okay, guys, balance it on top. Careful.
Eddie?
Oh, hey, Andrea.
Hey, aren't you stacking those heaters up kinda high?
I know, but look, we're out of room in here for all these heaters.
Yeah, you're stacking them like Dr. Seuss.
We had to pre-order a lot of these last year during the COVID delays.
Right, then all the orders came in, but at the same time.
What are we gonna do?
Well, I guess we'll give away some heaters.
Announcing the free brewery furnace giveaway at All Britain.
The free brewery?
Sure, our slow season is the very best time to let All Britain replace your old AC unit with a powerful, modern, energy-efficient system. And your new heater is free of charge.
Free brewery!
Because I need to keep my team busy and happy, you get our lowest prices of the year.
Plus, we can install your new system right away.
Your comfort instantly goes up.
While your energy bills go down.
The free brewery furnace giveaway is on, only at All Britain. Online at ALLBRITTEN.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Print and Marketing is committed to quality and printing perfect every time. Now at Staples, get $10 off your document printing and marketing materials order of $50 or more. Offer ends $225. See staples.com/stores/printbig for details. Try Staples and see the difference.
Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now.
And unfortunately, I'm furious about what's going on, so I can't enjoy the call as much as I would otherwise.
The Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi on News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
4:36 on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Online, you'll find us at KMJNow.com. And if you want to take us on the go, check out the new app. I mean, don't get me wrong, the podcasts are great after the fact. But if you want to listen to KMJ live on your mobile devices, we got a new app. It's in the Google Play and the iOS stores. We got rid of the old app because the old app wasn't getting the job done. This new one, pretty well put together. Just search for 580 KMJ or KMJ Now in the Google Play or iOS store. You can't miss it. It's got the KMJ logo on it. It sounds great, works great, and it's free. So I got a email again over the weekend. This one coming from an employee of the Fresno Unified School District, and another request because of this apprehensiveness about the way the district office is handling the situation at Bullard High School. Now there's two videos that I've had sent directly to me that are both circulating on social media that both show pretty intense violence being committed by students against other students on that campus. And what's interesting about this is the person who sent this is an employee of the district. They were able to quote an aspect of training at the Fresno Unified School District that I think is directly relevant. And it's actually a quote from the California Constitution, specifically California Constitution, Article 1, Section 28C. And the title of that section is Right to Safe Schools. And what it says is all students and staff of a public primary, elementary, junior high, and high schools have the inalienable right to attend campuses which are safe, secure, and peaceful. The frustration in the case of this sender is that administration constantly talks about how important safety is, and yet these incidents happen and their response is not attentiveness. It's not a public display of determination and compassion. It's word salad, and it's a refusal to engage. And that's a problem. It's a problem on a lot of levels. I mean, first and foremost, children are getting kicked in the head by other students while on campus. While teachers, while classified staff, while administrators, while safety resource officers are present on campus, this level of violence is occurring. Now, can you expect the staff to be omnipresent? No, you cannot. That's not realistic. But this isn't about that. It's about establishing in the minds of everybody on that campus that this sort of behavior will not be tolerated, that this sort of behavior will be prosecuted within the Ed Code and within the Penal Code. Because again, there is a difference between the sorts of scuffles that will inevitably occur between a couple of kids. You get that many kids and that many hormones and that many different sets of circumstances, and from time to time, it's going to escalate past words. That doesn't mean that should be ignored, but that's a very different thing than the level of violence that we've seen in these videos. And again, when you couple that with that second video, possibly being video of a drug dealer on campus assaulting a fellow student on campus, which again, I have not had independently verified. The source that told me that I consider reliable, but I want to be clear that that's third hand and it's not something I've been able to independently verify. That speaks to a sense of lawlessness, a lack of potential consequences, that this sort of behavior would occur on campus. That it occurs at all is horrifying. It's every parent's nightmare. But these kids, both the kids that haven't done anything wrong, who need reassurance that they're going to be safe, and the kids who might act out this way, but for the possibility of significant punishment. And again, I'm not talking about a public shaming. I'm not talking about riding them out of town on a rail. I'm not talking about blowing up a child's life right as their real life is about to get started. I'm talking about discipline. I'm talking about structure. Kids don't act like this if kids know that they're going to get into trouble for acting like this. Even a kid who comes from a crummy family that doesn't support education, that doesn't care about their grades, is going to be less likely to act out violently if they know that they're going to get pulled away from their bubble and their routine. And it doesn't mean that it's possible to stop all violence on school campuses. Unless you're going to go completely lunatic, fascistic police state on school campuses, which I do not advocate for. I would not support that. You're never going to completely eliminate the possibility of bad things happening. As long as violence exists in society, violence will exist on our school campuses. This level of violence happening multiple times on a single campus, there's no earthly way that these kids, believe that they are going to get into trouble if they're acting this way. Because this isn't a punch in the nose. This isn't a couple of guys wrestling and popping each other in the jaw. This is kids getting kicked in the head. And how long does it take before somebody behaving this way hurts somebody in a life-altering or, God forbid, life-ending way? The consequences of this continuing are much higher than just the parents who can pulling their kids off of a single campus. The consequences of this potentially are much higher than a parent suing the school. And these kids need to know that the consequences for behaving this way are serious. And that starts with talking about it. It starts with addressing it seriously in an above-board fashion. And yeah, that includes talking to the students directly. And it includes mass communications to students and to families. It also includes talking to people like me, and talking to the paper, and talking to the TV stations. All of them want to know about this. Our news partner, Fox 26, they ended up running coverage of that first video. They ended up talking to mom. And the answer that they got from the school district was more of this boilerplate. And what there needs to be is a clear, unqualified answer. If you commit a battery on a Fresno Unified campus, you are going to be referred to law enforcement. The evidence is going to be turned over, and you can expect to be arrested and prosecuted. If your child commits a battery on a Fresno Unified campus, the consequences start with a suspension because, again, the two knuckleheads punching each other in the nose because they're mad that one guy took the other guy's girlfriend to Winter Formal, those boys probably don't need to be expelled. They need to hug it out. They need to go pick up some trash. Booting a child in the head repeatedly because you're mad about some imaginary slight, that's a different level, and it needs to be met with a different level of discipline. And so don't talk about the specific story as if though the kids won't all know exactly what happened in a very short time. Honest to God, is there any place where news travels faster than a high school campus? Maybe a radio station break room. Only industry I've ever worked in where I've gotten text messages about people being fired before their last voice track aired. I think that Fresno Unified is starting to get the message that they've got to be serious about this, and they've got to answer the questions coming from the community. Not to destroy the life of a child who, with discipline and structure, can still be rescued, but to make sure that other children understand that there will be consequences for behaving that way, and that all children understand that their safety is being taken seriously. Phones are open for you at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. It's your afternoon drive on KMJ.
And taking a look at Tuesday afternoon traffic, we do have a wind advisory in effect until 7 p.m. tomorrow night. Basically, winds 20 to 30 miles per hour, gusting to as high as 55 miles per hour, especially bad on the west side of the valley. Watch out for loose items that could blow into the roadway, also tree limbs. And a report at Highway 180 and Vineland, there are defective traffic signals. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba through big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Folks, there's a fast break with the game on the line. He dribbles down the court, passes ahead for the alley-oop, and it's caught for a slam dunk.
Do you need an assist? Regain and optimize your sexual performance. See what Pacific Men's Clinic can do to help in the bedroom. Pacific Men's Clinic's safe and pain-free, clinically proven procedure breaks up plaque and stimulates the growth of healthy new blood vessels. Call for your free consultation now at 559-550-6771. That's 559-550-6771.
What a year it's been for Best Concrete Blocks. Seems like everybody's finding a way to use these versatile and affordable blocks. Walls, barriers, material separation, they're nearly indestructible. And now, Best Concrete Blocks is introducing Pretty Boy, a great choice for adding an aesthetically appealing block with a beautiful stonemason's design. The Pretty Boy block is perfect for areas that have public visibility. See Pretty Boy for yourself at bestconcreteblocks.com or call 288-7902.
Hi, I'm Joe Holstein, president of SunPower by Quality Home Services, with an urgent message. The local utilities are changing the solar rates and credits, and it's not in your favor. It's estimated that with this new plan, known as NEM 3, new solar customers will lose as much as 75% of the savings that solar provides. That's the bad news. The good news is there's still time to get signed up on the current plan, but you only have until April 15th. So if you've ever thought about going solar or thought about adding on to your current system, now is the time. Call today before it's too late. Solar never has been and never will be as affordable as it is right now. So act today. Visit our website at sunpowerbyqhs.com. That's sunpowerbyqhs.com. Please don't miss out and don't delay. Act today before it's too late.
Don't miss out on the savings. Go to sunpowerbyqhs.com. That's sunpowerbyqhs.com. CSLB 716208.
Oh, when we first met, our relationship was hot, new, and exciting. I was really in love. So I was blinded by how you were changing. You became unreliable, and my friends were worried about me. That's why I had to call on the plumbing gurus at Lee's. For me, I gotta move on. Lee set me up with a hot water heater of my dreams. My parents even approve of this one.
Done with your water heater? Turn it in for a new one at Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. You can trust their matchmaking plumbing services. They do all kinds of residential and commercial plumbing and heating work, both on the inside and outside. So whether you've got a leaky faucet, a clogged drain, a broken heater, or a broken sink, Lee's will be there to save the day. Call Lee's Air at 559-296-9555 to request an estimate. That's 559-296-9555. Lee's Air Plumbing and Heating. CLN 635355.
Find inspiration at the 37th Annual Fresno Home and Garden Show, March 3rd through 5th at the Fresno Fairgrounds. While there, be sure to visit one of our special exhibitors, Raven Custom Homes.
Thinking about building a home? Think Raven Custom Homes. I'm Corbin Raven, second-generation builder. I was born into construction and took over from Dad 23 years ago. I know custom construction, and we do everything. Need site development? No power, no pad? No problem. We also draw plans, or we're happy to use yours. And of course, we'll connect you with financing. Start the process at ravencustomhomes.com and hit the contact button. Quotes are free. And yes, we do go to the mountains. Raven Custom Homes, building family homes worth raving about.
And be sure to visit Raven Custom Homes at the 37th Annual Fresno Home and Garden Show, March 3rd through 5th at the Fresno Fairgrounds. Info at fresnoshows.com.
Start your morning with news and the truth. Fresno's Morning News, 6 to 9 a.m. on KMJ and streaming at kmjnow.com.
Rolling up on 5 o'clock on your afternoon drive. It's News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Phone's open for your calls at 490-5858 and 800-776-5858. Lawmakers in Maryland coming up with, an improvement following a story not entirely unlike the two stories we're now following out of Bullard High School. We'll get to that in a couple of minutes, but I want to talk to Bobby first. Welcome to KMJ, Bobby. Good afternoon.
Hi. First of all, I just want to make a statement here. I want to thank you for all you have done on this subject. I mean, I'm nobody important to be judging you, but I really appreciate you for what you have done and staying with this subject. And no more need to be said. I think you did a bolo punch in the stomach of administrators and got their attention. I just called to say also that this is just my opinion, that bullying to me is a mental and a physical thing. I just want to add this. This may be off subject a little, but I just want to add, since we're trying to straighten up things, I just want to say that bullying, to me, is a physical and mental thing, and it should be handled in the same way. And I just want to say that, and thank you again for all you've done.
Well, Bobby, I appreciate the kind words. For me, I'm just talking about what's being brought to me, and it's I got to look at myself in the mirror, and a school treating a child and a family the way that this young lady was treated last week. I have a problem with that, and this could have been a really, really short story. And the response of the school district and the arrogance, especially from the chief communications officer, as we're trying to talk about this very serious thing and reassure people that the school and the district both take it seriously, it turned it into something much larger than just a question of, hey, how y'all going to deal with this? I agree with you that bullying needs to be taken more seriously. It is absolutely physical and mental abuse. Being a jerk can't be criminalized because of the First Amendment, but acknowledging that the First Amendment is not truly absolute. We have slander, we have libel, we have defamation, fighting words and incitement and things of that nature. Those very explicit exceptions to the freedom of speech. The problem with bullying is that it can be this very insidious, low-key thing. But I agree with you, it's physical and mental abuse, and it needs to be taken seriously. Part of it is destigmatizing the act of speaking up if you believe that you are being bullied. Putting your hand up and saying, the way this person is treating me is making me uncomfortable. Not in some weird safe space bubble where, oh, I don't feel good having a man teach a class. Why? Did they do anything that you can point to, or is your own internal biases generating that discomfort? As far as the physical aspects of bullying, it's battery. Sometimes it's assault. But it can be quantified in a criminal way once it crosses a certain line. And the fact of the matter is, if you walk up and give somebody a wet willy, that could be classified as, I think that one's assault. So I think battery involves actual violence, like striking. I think assault can be anything that's just physically unwelcome contact. I could be wrong. I'm not a lawyer, but Bobby, you and I aren't far off on this thing. Richard, I see you there. I hope you'll stick around. We're going to talk to him. We got an update of headlines coming from the KMJ newsroom, as well as another look at your afternoon drive with Ron McCary in the KMJ Traffic Center, and more calls on the way, starting with Richard at 490-5858 and 800-776-5858.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
Mike Sherinian, owner of The Elbow Room.
Brunch has become the most rockin' day of the week, and we've made it now 2 days. So Saturday and Sunday brunch starts at 10 in the morning. And what really makes those 2 days unique is that you can get 14 or 15 different brunch items, and then you can get another 20 lunch items. There's going to be something for everybody.
Partner that delicious brunch with one of the Elbow Room's specialty craft cocktails and make a toast to great taste. Try our famous Bloody Mary topped with applewood smoked bacon. Our tangy guava delight is sure to wake up your taste buds. And the blood orange bourbon sour is brimming with flavor. A full craft cocktail menu awaits at the Elbow Room.
And that gives you every reason to come in on Saturday and Sunday because nobody's going to say, well, I can't get what I want. Brunch is where it's at.
The Elbow Room in Big Garden Village. Call 227-1234 to make your reservations.
Treat yourself to something great.
I know exactly how you feel. You're sitting there at the gas pump wondering, am I ever going to have a regular meal again? Because you're cutting out all the good food because you can't afford the gas, right? Wait until you see your next PG&E bill. No more meals out and no more hair because you're going to be pulling that out as well, too. Do what I did. Planet Solar. When you have a solar system put in by Planet Solar, you literally lock in your energy price forever. Don't you wish it could be that way at the gas pump? Sorry, but you can't do that there. But you can do it for your home with Planet Solar, and it all began for them right here in Central California. One of the things I really liked about these guys is their financing. Don't let the rate hike scare you away from going with Planet Solar. And they are really quick and good and efficient on installation, and they have become masters at putting together a complete solar package with a solar battery. So you've got the juice when PG&E says, no, you don't need it because we're trying to conserve to save the world. Click planetsolar.com. Do that. Call them at 228-9245.
Mr. World here, working the red carpet at the big awards show. You know, the paparazzi keeps asking me, what are you wearing? Well, I'm wearing the hottest styles from Eyeglass World, of course. Eyeglass World has all the nominees for Best Stylish Frames. Even better, they're the winner for Best Supporting Prices.
Get hundreds of designer frames for hundreds less at Eyeglass World, the world's best way to buy glasses. Visit eyeglassworld.com to schedule your eye exam online.
Samba through big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 1059 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 5 o'clock in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Joe Miller here in the KMJ News Center. Here's what's going on. 2 people who died after a shooting Sunday night outside a hookah lounge in Fresno have been identified. KMJ's Liz Kern reports one of the victims was the son of former Fresno council member.
Both victims died on Sunday, 32-year-old Akili Moffitt and 41-year-old Felix Hawkins, the son of Cynthia Sterling, who once represented the southwest area of Fresno. Detectives say an argument started around 10:45 Sunday night at the hookah lounge on Milburn and Herndon. Somebody fired gunshots into the crowd of around 50, striking and killing Hawkins. Police say Moffitt was dropped off at CRMC and died there from a single gunshot wound. Lieutenant Paul Cervantes says it's just over a month since 8 people were arrested for a robbery at a Fresno hookah lounge.
We are aware of the fact that there is a pattern, if you will. And based on that pattern, I can tell you that our department, along with the leadership in this organization, is taking a very strong look at what those particular entities look like and how we're going to be allowing them to operate within the city of Fresno moving forward.
Detectives are interviewing witnesses and locating surveillance video. Anyone with tips, call the Fresno Police Department. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Clovis West High School briefly placed on lockdown this afternoon at about 2:30 after being notified by Fresno police that another call had been received, similar to those received by local law enforcement earlier this month. An immediate coordinated response with local law enforcement, including an aerial and ground search of the campus, confirming the school was clear to end the lockdown and continue with regular operations. As a precautionary measure, Fort Washington Elementary was briefly placed on a lockdown. It was lifted in less than 10 minutes. Normal operations were quickly resumed. California's Ag Department wants to help farmers grow more healthy crops. KMJ Ag Director Don York explains.
The California Department of Food and Agriculture continues to accept applications for the Tree Fruit, Tree Nut, and Grapevine Improvement Advisory Board research grant proposals. That money will help fund research to improve nursery stock. The CDFA announcement also says the research should address important disease and pest problems or other cultural aspects of tree fruit, tree nut, and grapevine nursery stock production. Funding is made possible from industry assessments, and projects should include elements such as research of diseases and genetic disorders. John York, KMJ News.
A gas station in Fresno suffered serious damage after a driver jumped from a moving truck before it crashed into the building. Clovis police got a call of a stolen Enterprise rental truck near Gettysburg and Peach Avenues. As officers were arriving in the area, one of them spotted the truck near Chestnut and Dakota Avenues, tried to pull the driver over. The driver did not stop, so the officer called for help from other law enforcement agencies. When the truck reached Clinton and Chestnut, the driver pulled into the fast trip market on the corner, jumped from the moving truck, took off running. The truck crashed into the market, causing significant damage. The driver got away. Erickson Elementary School was locked down while officers searched for that driver. Now the forecast from Fox 26 is Justin Willis.
Afternoon high today is 67, but cooling to the low 50s tomorrow, and then we've got rain the rest of the week on the valley floor with a winter storm warning for the foothills and mountains. About a foot or two of snow at the 1,000-foot level, even a chance for snow on the valley floor tomorrow night and Thursday. Wind speeds this afternoon are around 20 to 30 miles an hour with 45-mile-an-hour gusts. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com, I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at Tuesday afternoon traffic conditions, wind advisory in effect till 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Winds will be gusting between 20 and 30 miles per hour. On the west side, the gusts could be as high as 55 miles per hour. That could lead to some areas of blowing dust, blowing loose items, and tree branches in the road. So be very careful there. East Jensen and South Peach in Fresno, there's a disabled semi along the side of the road, blocking part of the roadway, but it was along the side of the road at last report. And Highway 180 in Vineland, there are defective traffic signals at last report. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi. Philip Teresi. Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now on News Talk 580 105.9 KMJ.
5:06 on a Tuesday afternoon. I'm Philip Teresi. This is News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ online at KMJNow.com. Phones are open for your calls at 490-5858. Toll free, join me at 800-776-5858. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can find the show at Drive KMJ, and if you want to watch the live stream, you can do that on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook Live. Also at Drive KMJ. Joshua Weekly is standing by to screen your calls this afternoon, and honest to God, one of these days I'm going to remember to take that out of the log. Goodness. 3-day weekend. What are you going to do? It's free, right? All right, we've been talking about Fresno Unified, the violence on the campus at Bullard High School, and the response from the district starting to move in the right direction after a really hard time getting an adequate response, both for the family of the victim of last week's incident and for the community as to what it is that Fresno Unified is going to do to improve safety on this school's campus. Now, we know that Bullard isn't the only place that fights happen. We know that Bullard isn't the only place that violence, battery occurs. That doesn't mean that ignoring it is going to improve it. Just the opposite. I think that it needs to be. I think that it needs to be highlighted, and that drum needs to be beat until there is something significant done to address this problem. And the problem of Fresno Unified not wanting to talk to KMJ, or more specifically, the audience of KMJ, that's another story. And I am hopeful that we are beginning to move past whatever that was that we got last week. Right now, though, I want to talk to you. 490-5858, 800-776-5858. There is a problem, and the solution is not one that is going to click into place in a single day. Richard's on the phone. Welcome to KMJ, sir.
Hi, I appreciate the time to share my thoughts. I'm a teacher, and I've been teaching for more than 25 years. I hope that I'm not, and I only get to listen to you bits and pieces throughout the afternoon on my drive, so I don't know all of the details and everything that's been going on, but I know that you've been talking about this for more than a week. I think one of the biggest problems that's happening on campuses in the state of California is that schools used to be evaluated based on academic test scores. That was the thing that was published in the newspaper. It was the thing that school districts bragged about. It was what they publicized. It's how realtors advertise homes in certain areas. A few years ago, schools' evaluations and scores were changed to reflect discipline issues, the number of suspensions, the number of students based on how the school is handling all those things. Anyone in education that tells you that that hasn't impacted how teachers, administrators, discipline staff, and district office level people are forced to handle discipline issues on campus aren't being honest. I know of teachers in multiple districts and administrators in multiple districts who have been told, do not suspend kids unless you call the district office and we discuss it. Administrators are not allowed to follow the code of conduct. The discipline code of conducts have become increasingly vague and open-ended. When I first began teaching, consequences were very clear. The student committed this act, they got this consequence. Now everything is all based on administrator discretion, and administrators are not able to follow the code of conduct. Another issue that's happening is that small things are not being dealt with because of the same issues, so that leads to a buildup. So kids get away with more and more and more, and good kids see people getting away with things, and then there's a mob mentality that if they get away with it, I can get away with it, and it's leading to a problem on campuses. And I teach not in the Fresno area, I teach in a different district, not in Fresno County, and it's the same thing with all of my friends up and down the state that are in education. Thank you for the time.
Richard, I very much appreciate the call, and I'm not surprised to hear what you have to say. I think that we've entered into an era, and this is not exclusive to Fresno Unified, obviously, because you're talking about it as a teacher from outside the area. I don't think it's exclusive to Fresno Unified. Optics have become a greater concern than results. And I think that does tie back to the change in the way that we grade a school's success. And this is something that it didn't get screwed up overnight. It didn't happen yesterday. It wasn't an issue that suddenly burst into existence when Bob Nelson was elevated to superintendent or when Susan Wittrup was elected to the school board. This is something that goes back years and years. And I remember when I was a kid in school, a family friend had given my mom a book called Dumbing Us Down. And it wasn't a terribly long book. It was almost more of a tract than a book. And I remember it had this peculiar green cover. The author's John Taylor Gatto. And they call it Dumbing Us Down, the Hidden Curriculum of Compulsory Schooling. Gatto reveals the deadening heart of compulsory state schooling, assumptions and structures that stamp out self-knowledge, curiosity, concentration, and the solitude essential to learning. In his 26 years of award-winning teaching in New York City public schools, Gatto has found that independent study, community service, large doses of solitude, and apprenticeships with adults from all walks of life are keys to helping children break the thrall of our conforming society. Gatto urges us to find ways to re-engage children and families in actively controlling our culture, economy, and society. Now, I don't remember all of the details of the book, but believe it or not, despite the fact that this thing was published when I was a kid in school myself, I actually have a copy of it. I still have it sitting in my office. I'm going to have to sit down and reread it. It's, like I said, it's not terribly long. It's 128 pages. It's published in 1992. So the belief that the school system had lost its way and had deviated from its mission, and it was becoming something other than a mechanism for good and for the promotion of young people into contributing members of society. Look, you and I both know it goes back to before 1992 even. But we can blame things like No Child Left Behind, where social promotion got prioritized over academic achievement. The self-confidence movement of the 1980s, the idea that if you tell somebody they're good, if you make them feel good, if you reward them for simply showing up, that self-confidence will propel them to success regardless of their actual results. And we've got this whole constellation of things that has led to schools that don't teach, teachers that are highly educated, massively overworked babysitters whose tertiary responsibility is imparting knowledge. School level administration that does nothing but run around putting out fires and dealing with complaints from families that more closely resemble a Karen-esque meltdown in the customer service section of Target than a earnest request from a family seeking help to get their child's academic achievement in line. And finally, kids that know that consequences don't exist. And all of these things have made the situation worse and worse and worse and worse. And when you add all of the social elements that contributed to these decisions and the effect that they have on life off campus, it's no wonder that we now have a administrative system, and again, not exclusively in Fresno Unified. Believe you me, I've got plenty of criticism to offer Fresno Unified School District, but I want to be clear that I'm not speaking exclusively of them here. Administrations that are massive and bloated. They are effectively a sunset program for people who played the political game and who held on long enough to be, wink, wink, deserving of six-figure salaries for doing little or nothing to improve student outcomes. Massive offices packed with staff that don't actually accomplish anything. Superintendents making obscene salaries. And again, Bob Nelson's one of them. To be clear, Bob Nelson is savagely overpaid for the results that Fresno Unified gets. Bob Nelson is not an exception. Bob Nelson is the norm. And school boards that are political stepping stones for the ambitious and retirement plans for the complacent. And caught in the middle of all this are a bunch of kids who can't read, can't write, and don't know how to function when they enter society. What's happening is catastrophic, and it is in no small part contributing to the decay of society. When we talk about what's going wrong and why are criminals worse and why are these idiotic politicians continuing to get reelected and reelected and reelected, cycle after cycle after cycle? Why are the performance artists rewarded? It comes back to what's happening in our schools. We're going to talk to Joaquin in just a minute, another teacher, another longtime servant in a vocation that doesn't get nearly enough respect and frequently has to carry the blame for exactly what we're talking about today. I'd like to hear from you too at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858 on the afternoon drive on KMJ.
And this traffic report is sponsored by Evans Feed and Livestock Supply. Be reminded a wind advisory is in effect till 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Winds between 20 and 30 miles per hour. It could gust up to 55 miles per hour, especially on the west side of the valley. Beware of blowing loose items, and there could be tree branches in the road. And to wit, in central Fresno at East Ashland and North Maroa, There was a collision with a tree. A spruce tree fell on a vehicle. The person was trapped for a short time, is now out of the vehicle. East Jensen and South Peach, there's a disabled semi along the side of the road. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Lon Hanna here, talking cow care. The folks at Evans Feed know that this is a critical time of year to keep your cows healthy. If you're thinking about cutting back on your supplement programs, Mother Nature already has. Remember, it's up to you to help increase money in your calf check. Take care of your cows with Megalick Tubs by New Generation Supplements. You'll see improved performance, body condition, conception, and weaning weights, plus more disease resistance. So take care of your cows and they'll take care of you. See your Evans Feed Megalick distributor today in Madera, Chowchilla, and Porterville.
What a year it's been for Best Concrete Blocks. Seems like everybody's finding a way to use these versatile and affordable blocks. Walls, barriers, material separation, they're nearly indestructible. And now, Best Concrete Blocks is introducing Pretty Boy, a great choice for adding an aesthetically appealing block with a beautiful stonemason's design. The Pretty Boy block is perfect for areas that have public visibility. See Pretty Boy for yourself at bestconcreteblocks.com or call 288-7902.
Attention Fresno, another massive rate increase. Declare your energy independence from the utility company. If you've ever thought about going solar, you must go solar right now. You can go solar with Semper Solaris, your local and veteran-owned solar contractor. They'll get the job done with esprit de corps and honor. Imagine no money out of pocket and no payments until 2024. That's no utility bill and no payments all year. Keep your money in your pocket and go solar American style with Semper Solaris. Worried about blackouts? Tesla Powerwall and Enphase batteries are in stock. Call 559-242-1800. Not sure about your roof? Semper's an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Contractor. Upgrade to Owens Corning 50-year warranty for free. Grab the 30% solar federal tax credit. $500 downloadable coupon, $500 off for military and first responders. Plus, 0 down, 0% interest, and 0 payments until 2024. For all offers, call 559-242-1800 or visit sempersolaris.com. On approved credit, expires 2/28/2023. CSLB number 978152.
Test it. If you feel sick, test to know if it's COVID. Treat it. Medication is key to slow the virus in your body. Beat it. Recover smoother. You may test negative sooner. California, you know you need it. Test it, treat it, you can beat it.
Yeah. Visit youcanbeatit.org or call 833-422-4255 to ask for medication to treat COVID-19. Sponsored by the California Department of Public Health.
Is your well almost dry, or is it dry? Are you on a waiting list to have a well drilled? Have you been turned away from other drilling companies who can't handle the hard rock drilling conditions in your area? Strickland Well Drilling is here for you. With over 2 decades of experience specializing in residential, agricultural, and hard rock drilling, Strickland Well Drilling proudly serves Fresno, Tulare, Kings, and Madera counties. Don't wait. Make the call today at 352-7228. Again, 352-7228. Or for more information, visit StricklandWellDrilling.com. Whether it's the soft, sandy soils of the West, the clay and cobble of the East, or the hard rock mountainous terrain, Strickland Well Drilling has the equipment and expertise to handle your individual water well needs. Access to clean water is vital, and Strickland Well Drilling knows you can't afford to wait. Call for a no-cost detailed estimate today at 352-7228. Strickland Well Drilling, dedicated to keep the valley flowing. Make the call today, 352-7228, or visit StricklandWellDrilling.com.
Contact the text group for details and restrictions. Attention anyone that owes money to the IRS. The IRS has restarted aggressive enforcement actions against taxpayers who owe back taxes that were temporarily suspended for COVID. If you owe $10,000 or more, you must hear this, because now is the time to clear your IRS tax debt. A special toll-free number has been established so you can stop penalty fees, avoid liens, levies, or other hostile measures by the IRS. Call the tax group right now at 800-743-9157. The tax group will provide you with the maximum protection afforded by law.
I got behind on my taxes and owed $48,000. I didn't know what to do. I called and they got my bill lowered to just $3,500.
I owed $87,000 in taxes and it was scary. I got the amount I owed down to just $3,500. I saved $83,500.
If you owe money to the IRS, don't wait another day. Call 800-743-9157 right now before the IRS enforces liens, levies, and other aggressive measures. The call and consult are absolutely free. Call now. Call 800-743-9157. 800-743-9157. 800-743-9157. 1.
Roll through the 5 o'clock hour on KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Phones are open for your calls at 490-5858. Toll free, join me at 800-776-5858. Got another teacher checking in on what's going wrong. The schools aren't teaching, and now they're not even safe. Joaquin, welcome to KMJ.
Well, thanks for taking my call, Mr. Teresi. Yeah, well, since the state of California has said that the students do not have to follow teachers' directions, that's kind of put a kibosh on getting anything done. I've had students threaten my life in the classroom. I've sent them to the office. They come back and said, see, I told you they weren't going to do anything to me. I've had students that had acted out so much that they had to have a campus security person come and take them to the office.
Yeah.
And then the student walked up and down the hallway in the office, flapping his arms like a chicken. And they finally got him into, and squawking, they finally got him into a guidance learning director's office who could neither guide, learn, or direct their way out of a wet paper bag, and then started throwing things around in the office. They finally suspended him. But meanwhile, in the meantime, teachers had taken all this garbage for months, come in three times absent a week and cussing the teachers out, and we're supposed to take it. No, the whole morale of the teachers was just disintegrating because the admin would not back them up.
So finally, this kid gets suspended, and I'm going to ask you a question that I think I already know the answer to, but I'm going to ask it anyways. The kid finally gets suspended. What was the parents' reaction?
The parents blamed the teachers, and I've been told that by a parent on the phone that I was not raising their child right. Can you imagine? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm married to a teacher, so I can.
Yeah. Okay. So the point of the whole mess is that from the top down, we've been told. It really started when a long time ago. I retired in 2014, but way before that, the kids were not required to memorize the multiplication tables. If you don't know how to multiply and know how to divide, then you're not going to do anything with algebra. It all boils away.
And Joaquin, I think that we've got these two issues that are actually kind of they're symbiotic, and one is the idea that the actual academic mastery of the subject is less important than the social promotion. The other is that the child should not be infringed and prevented from participating in the classroom, except in the most dire of circumstances. But the most dire of circumstances has evolved from shooting a spit wad or putting a tack on a teacher's chair to selling dope and kicking people in the skull.
Right. I've been over to a parent's house and knocked on the door, and the mother came to the door and was shocked. She said, "You can't come over here." I said, "Well, ma'am, I called you 3 times and you didn't return my calls. I thought you'd want to know what your child was doing at school." Yeah. And I got a phone call I got called into the admin office saying, "You know what? Don't go over there." I went, "How are we supposed to get parent cooperation if they don't know, if they want to help their kid? How are we supposed to get the cooperation if they don't know what the child's doing?"
And what was the answer from administration in that case?
In that case was, "Don't go over there."
So, Joaquin, you've been out of the game now for almost 10 years.
Right.
So, which means that you had a good long run where you saw this developing. I know we can't solve this problem overnight, but if somebody put the scepter in your hand and said, "Joaquin, you're now going to dictate how this game runs," what are the first 2 or 3 changes that you would make?
Parent involvement with a meaningful consequence if the child does err, and of course praise if they do well, and that's with academics and with social. That goes together, and then getting the administration to back up the teachers. I mean, the kid could flunk English, math, German, and physical education, and go to the next grade level. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's the social promotion element to me is one of the biggest mistakes we ever made in public education. A kid who misses an elective, okay, that maybe they got to go to summer school. They got to make that up. But a kid who cannot perform academically at grade level needs to stay at their previous grade level until they master those skills. Otherwise, we're not doing the job.
My mother was dying of stomach cancer when I was in high school. I couldn't focus. I flunked English, math, and German my senior year at McLean. And I didn't need the math and I didn't need the German, but I did have to pass my English class. And I was already signed up for the Navy. I had to go to summer school to pass that class, or I couldn't get into the service. So I know about this stuff.
Yeah.
And I spent years, about 11 years, in continuation education with kids who are drug addicts, alcoholics, heroin addicts. And if we can get them to see that they have a future, and education is the way to get to their future, then we've got a handle on them. Otherwise, it's no consequences, no consequences.
Well, Kane, I very much appreciate the call, and I appreciate the time that you put in. That's a tough road, man. I appreciate you doing it.
Thank you, sir. Take care.
You as well. 490-5858 or 800-776-5858. So there you go. A man who had over 3 decades of experience telling you that no consequences translates to worse behavior. Social promotion promotes academic weakness. And all of this in a system that was founded with the specific intention of preparing people to go participate in the real world. Think about all of the jobs that you have had in your life. Think about all the bosses you've ever had, the good ones and the bad ones. Every crummy menial job that you ever had. Flipping burgers, chucking papers, working the graveyard shift at a convenience store. I did 2 out of 3. At one point, I was so desperate for a job, I was so worried about having adequate income. I took a job chauffeuring dead bodies for a company that contracted to coroner's office and funeral homes. Some of my bosses were awesome. Some of my bosses were not. None of my bosses were going to promote me. None of my bosses were going to give me raises if I didn't show up, if I didn't perform the basic tasks set in front of me. Never mind reading and writing and math skills. Showing up on time, dressed appropriately, and engaging with the customers and the clients in a professional way. And again, even working graveyards at the convenience store, there was a minimum expectation there. And we're betraying our children by not giving that to them.
KMJ News now.
It's 5:30 in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. Son of former Fresno City Council member, one of 2 men killed Sunday night. It's confirmed Felix Hawkins in front of a hookah lounge on Milburn and Herndon Avenues, where a private party going on with about 50 people. Police say an argument happened outside and led to gunfire. Hawkins' mother is Cynthia Sterling, who was in office from 2003 to 2011. The other victim, identified as Akili Moffitt, he died at the hospital. If passed, a new proposed ordinance would require residents in Fresno found with a detached catalytic converter to show proof of ownership. City officials plan to propose the policy in Thursday's city council meeting, and if given the green light, it would go into effect in 30 days. According to the city, in 2022, about 1,829 catalytic converters stolen. The city of Fresno is the first to propose this type of policy. Currently, there's no law criminalizing these thieves unless they are caught red-handed by law enforcement. Ordinance would require people found with a detached catalytic converter to show proof of the vehicle's ownership or be charged with a misdemeanor. A large-scale experiment looks at the 4-day work week. Fox's Teresi Crowley with the results.
2 collective thumbs up from both companies and workers after more than 60 companies joined a pilot program testing a 4-day work week in the UK. The trial declared a resounding success, and 92% of companies are keeping it. Before and after data show nearly 40% of workers felt less stressed, 71% reported less burnout after the 6-month trial, and the bottom line, companies actually reported an average 35% revenue increase. The British think tank Autonomy finds that workers preferred the extra day off to getting a pay raise, and 15% said no amount of money would get them to go back to a 5-day work week. Teresi Crowley, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Justin Willis.
Afternoon high today is 67, but cooling to the low 50s tomorrow. And then we've got rain the rest of the week on the valley floor with a winter storm warning for the foothills and mountains. About a foot or two of snow at the 1,000-foot level. Even a chance for snow on the valley floor tomorrow night and Thursday. Wind speeds this afternoon are around 20 to 30 miles an hour with 45-mile-an-hour gusts. For KMJ from the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Justin Willis.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And this traffic report is sponsored by Table Mountain Casino. We have a wind advisory until 7 o'clock tomorrow evening. The gusts could be as high as 55 miles per hour on the west side of the valley, up to 30 miles per hour elsewhere. Could cause loose items to blow around, also tree branches. And in central Fresno, a tree did fall on a car a short time ago within the hour, East Ashland and North Maroa, so be very careful. Try to avoid that intersection if at all possible. Hanford Avenue, 16th and Iona, there's a traffic hazard of some sort. And in the Porterville area, Avenue 68 and Road 160, a hit and run with no injuries. In February, you can be making memories at Table Mountain Casino Resort with a chance to win an outdoor picnic set. On Thursdays from 5 a.m. to midnight, earn 900 points playing with your rewards card. If you qualify, you win. Pick up your gift piece from the promotions counter while supplies last. Your next adventure is at Table Mountain Casino Resort. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This is Helen with Solar Negotiators with a breaking solar industry news update. Extremely bad news coming out of California. NEM 3.0 is a new set of rules that will cut credit for solar systems on homes by up to 75%. However, there is some good news. If your application for your new solar system is submitted early enough, you can still lock in your savings under the current policy. This is good for up to 20 years, with no deadline for construction of the system. It's time to finally go solar, and Solar Negotiators is making it easy for you to reserve your solar project today with flexible cancellation options. But their team is recommending that all customers who don't currently have solar look to getting a quote and an active reservation as soon as possible. You will need a solar agreement to hold your place under the current 2.0 rules. NEM 3.0 is coming, and the deadline is rapidly approaching. Don't wait. Lock in your solar savings today. To learn more about NEM 3.0 or to reserve your project, go to solarnegotiators.com today.
Are you like me? You like to play around with your truck or your Jeep? Whether that vehicle is just a toy or maybe it's your office, it's your work. That's how you make your living because of your truck. Every single need you have with that vehicle is met by the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center. Yeah, me, Ray Appleton. I'm talking about this great company that I have been involved with for a couple of decades now. I couldn't even begin to tell you how many different dealerships here in Central California have used the Noble Brothers for years to finish their trucks. But you want to finish that after purchase build out? Your partner on that one has to be the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Centers. Two of them, one out in Sunnyside, the other at Blackstone and Sierra. Hey, you got a fifth wheel? You need the Noble Brothers. They have gooseneck hitches, and yes, they have B&W. You need a bed liner, a ladder rack? You have a Jeep Wrangler like me. You want to lift it, big tires, wheels, all kinds of lights. For 42 years, it's the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Centers.
Find inspiration at the 37th Annual Fresno Home and Garden Show, March 3rd through 5th at the Fresno Fairgrounds. While there, be sure to visit one of our special exhibitors, Raven Custom Homes.
Thinking about building a home? Think Raven Custom Homes. I'm Corbin Raven, second-generation builder. I was born into construction and took over from Dad 23 years ago. I know custom construction, and we do everything. Need site development? No power? No pad? No problem. We also draw plans, or we're happy to use yours. And of course, we'll connect you with financing. Start the process at ravencustomhomes.com and hit the contact button.